It is 10 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. As the dust has settled on the 2025 NFL Draft, the host city for the 2027 Draft is being revealed. It will reportedly be in Washington, D.C. at the National Mall, where the Washington Monument stands. The 2026 Draft will be held in Pittsburgh. In college football news, Michigan head coach Sharon Moore is expected to be banned for 2 games in the 2025 season as part of a self-imposed sanction by the university for the Connor Stallion sign-stealing scandal. According to a report by ESPN, the suspension is for weeks 3 and 4 against Central Michigan and Nebraska. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
All right. Gang's all here. Lucas back from, where were you, Mexico?
Punta Cana.
All right. Very good. Robert's here, too. You're stuck with me until 1 o'clock. Happy Monday. Thanks for hanging out. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, where you can live stream the show if you're so inclined. 615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to call us at any point throughout the course of our time together. How was Punta Cana? Did you enjoy it? I heard you glowing about your all-inclusive experience, and it made me smile, Robert. Made me smile. He's getting a little more entitled. He's getting a little more used to living in the lap of luxury. Sounded like me. It made me very happy. I just got a little warm and fuzzy inside hearing about how he did it the correct way as opposed to doing it the way that I'm sure you have done in years past.
Well, it's a very new experience for me. I am an adventurer. I like to go to new places and see new places and kind of do everything on my own. This is the first time that I've ever done the 5 nights. Everything's just taken care of. Everything's already paid for. All you got to do is be there, show up, go wherever you want. It was lovely. We had a very, very nice time. Clearly, I missed an eventful week. I know I missed a great install live with Greg Cosell and Brian Callahan on Friday.
That was really the only thing that happened last week. I mean, this week we got nothing. Last week we had nothing.
Oh, okay.
We're just surviving.
Yes. No, I did come back and, tuning into RKW on the way in. The discourse, it might as well be the Tuesday of last Tuesday, right. Just like it is this Tuesday.
Nothing happened.
Nothing major's happened. We've got some news up in Michigan,
well,
but
we do have a little bit of a suspension situation to talk about.
I got to hold a parrot named Pepe, and also an iguana named Rocco.
Do you feel like you were more prepared for that because of your experience with me at the zoo? Like you got to be close to, touch, feel, sniff, taste a lot of cool animals at the Nashville Zoo.
Taste?
So, you weren't around for the entire thing. You don't know what we got to do. You were using the bathroom.
You were getting your face painted.
The only thing I saw you eat was those horse treats.
Oh God, and they weren't bad. They weren't bad.
A little bit of ivermectin in there for you.
I also taste a little bit, or hear a little bit of Southern. I don't know. You sound like he's hash brown colored today. Lucas came back way more tan. Yes, he's tanner than you are.
No, there's a 0% chance.
Look at beside each other. He looks like a hash brown. You look like one that ain't been in yet.
That's because he refuses to use his ring light.
Proof is in the pudding on YouTube.
There's no reason why it would be in the pudding. Of all places, I am so looking forward to seeing how this continues to evolve, where all of a sudden he's turned into me and he's bottle service at his next Mexico 5-day all-inclusive resort experience.
It wasn't Mexico. Dominican Republic.
Punta Cana?
Yeah. I feel like it's offensive you keep calling it Mexico.
Right. Like, come on, man.
Like you knew that.
I did know that. I have his location. I tracked him the whole time. Make sure nobody abducted my buddy.
Why do people do that? I refuse to share my location.
I got nothing to hide. It's like how people get freaked out.
It's not about hiding. It's why do you want to know where I am all the time?
People go.
You have my location.
I have deleted it every time you try to put it in my phone.
It's still there. It says Buck can see your location.
The only reason why I had your location is because your drunk ass was too inebriated to handle your business on your own on Friday night, and I had to call an Uber for you to send you back to wherever the hell it is that you live.
My phone was dead.
$76 later. You live in Knoxville? Where's this Uber taking you?
People get really, up in arms about the government watching us, right? And government tracking. Like, Government can track me.
The government
I'm good.
can track
They're
me.
just
I
gonna
don't
be
want
bored.
you to track me.
I got nothing to hide.
No, it's not about things to hide. It's just I don't understand why people are so infatuated with where everybody else in the world at every given moment. But that's neither here nor there.
Carrie says you were calling it San Juan all of last week. So I was in Mexico, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic.
That's definitely. I don't think I even acknowledged that you weren't here last week.
That's not true. He was like, he's eating gerbils in Peru somewhere. He kept mixing the country.
All right,
up.
now who's being offensive?
No, they eat gerbils down there.
Is that what you ate when we went to the zoo?
Anyway, got a great show coming up. Plenty of good nuggets, like those gerbil nuggets.
I ate goat meat, which was delightful.
Depending on how you prepare it, I've heard that it's not the worst thing in the world, but I hear it can be a bit gamey. Anyway, Michigan is suspending Sharon Moore, but it's one of the weirdest suspensions I've ever seen. So 2 games for the upcoming season, part of self-imposed sanctions by the university, going back to the Connor Stallions advanced scouting scandal that took the world by storm, the Michigan Manifesto, everything that has transpired for Michigan since then. Jim Harbaugh leaving, taking the Chargers job, Michigan petering out last season for a variety of different reasons, but still able to beat Ohio State before Ohio State went on to win the national championship. He is suspended for weeks 3 and 4 against Central Michigan and Nebraska. Of course, he will also be barred, according to the reporting, from any team-related duties during those weeks and will receive additional recruiting-related penalties. The NCAA can still punish Moore in addition to the self-imposed school penalties, and there is a final resolution that is expected before the start of the season. So he's going to be there for their games against New Mexico and Oklahoma, but not against Central Michigan and Nebraska. What is the logic behind this? What is the precedent? I'm confused.
There is no precedent. This is strange. I've never seen number one, this is a very serious self-imposed ban. When you see self-imposed penalties from universities, you're seeing recruiting sanctions, right? Scholarship reductions, but a self-imposed 2-game ban for your head coach where he can't be a part of team-related activities, which is unlike Jim Harbaugh's suspension where he was able to be at practice and at team-related activities. The only thing that you can draw as to why he would be there for weeks 1 and 2 and not weeks 3 and 4 is Sharon Moore played at Oklahoma. That's his alma mater.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, and he wants to be there for that game.
Oh,
and
come on.
I don't know. I mean, it's weird. It is weird. And I suppose that'll be a tougher opponent in 2025 than Nebraska. But it's a strange one. I don't know.
So that is the latest with Michigan. And, of course, that his suspension specifically, Sharon Moore's suspension, ties back to allegations that he deleted a thread of somewhere in the area of 50 different text messages back and forth with Stallions. So not only is he likely involved, but then he tried to delete the evidence. I'm sure Sharon Moore is like me, doesn't want the people having his location on his iPhone either.
People can find those?
What, text?
That you delete?
The text that you delete? Yes.
It's all out there, buddy.
What do you think happens to them?
I thought you...
Are you also somebody who thinks
do they
Snapchats
recycle?
delete after viewing them one time and they're just never anywhere for anybody else to find instead of all your nudes stored in a database?
No, that's where all my nudes are stored, is in a database. No, I don't even mess around with Snapchat.
He's got a personal hard drive.
I figured it need a whole lot of RAM for that one. I figured they just deleted. What do they call them deleting for if you ain't getting rid of them? We're going to recycle your text?
Yeah, but if Verizon gets subpoenaed for your text messages, they're going to be able to produce them.
Shoot,
That's
Lord.
true.
I need somebody to buy AT&T then. We're going to have to figure this
He needs
out.
to contact Dan Lust.
Yeah, what in the
Sports
world
attorney.
is going on?
Yeah, he's going to cost you a hell of a lot more than it cost me to appear on the radio show. So, this is dating back to the whole Connor Stallion situation. Michigan trying to figure it out. In the meantime, Michigan and Ohio State and just the landscape of college football year to year. Because, Lucas, we talked about this while you were gone, just briefly. I only dipped a toe into the college football waters without you, because they had the big orange caravan in town and talking about just a level of expectation that Tennessee fans or any college football program might have year to year, whether it's my alma mater, Indiana, whether it's Tennessee, now back in the mix, or feeling like they should be back in the mix perpetually for college football playoff. it's just an interesting landscape specific to college football. Just because you had success in one season, there is nothing besides sustaining the level of transfer portal commitment and recruitment and maintaining the level with your coaching staff. You know, the degree of difficulty for trying to have success translate year over year has gone up to the nth degree, to where Tennessee fans might hear, well, 8-4 is best case scenario for you in 2025. And a Vols fan is probably looking around being like, what do you mean? We went to the college football playoff last year. We won 10 games. We should be thought of as continuing to compete for the college football playoff year in and year out, right? Because we're here now. No, your quarterback just transferred. The portal has given you what the portal is capable of giving you at this late stage of the game, and I have no idea what your 2025 is going to look like. It's just tough. So for Michigan, for Ohio State, all these different programs who have had success in trying to figure out the best way to maintain it, degree of difficulty has never been harder than it is right now.
Yeah, and Bryce Underwood is on the way. The 5-star quarterback is headed to Michigan. There's been a lot of reporting around his NIL figure in Michigan, trying to kind of cover up the insane amount of money that he is making in NIL to go play for Michigan. It's a weird situation up there. And then on top of all of it, the president of the university is bailing to go to Florida.
Yeah, saw that.
And that's got nothing to do with the athletic department. It's not the athletic director. It's not Ward Manuel.
I'm sure it's not completely unrelated.
But it's hard to ignore, right? Is that a coincidence that this is happening with the football program and the coach now is having a self-imposed ban and they're still waiting on the NCAA maybe to drop the hammer, and then
it's probably
the president
not
bails?
Exclusively the reason, but it's probably like, I don't really want to deal with this. I've got another opportunity elsewhere. I'm not caught up in all this mess. There's nothing to tie me to Connor Stallions. I didn't delete 52 text messages. Let me just pick up my stuff and go.
The Bryce Underwood NIL funds reporting around this is a whole other layer that we can get into later on in the show. But Michigan football is under a lot of scrutiny right now. And meanwhile, Jim Harbaugh is just happily hanging out in sunny Los Angeles, dealing with none of it.
With his Michigan M tattoo and his national championship date on his shoulder. That's all he has to deal with. The only thing that he has to carry with him from all the impropriety that was surrounding those Michigan teams at that point in time. We've got a new announcement on a future NFL draft site, and I'm trying to figure out why the hell it's not coming back to Nashville, Tennessee. We'll tell you the latest on that coming up next on this Monday. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Many thanks to the great people at Hattie B's for making such a fun night possible with great food on top of everything else on Friday night with Coach Callahan, with Greg Cosell, also Two Rivers Ford, Milagro Tequila, Monkey Shoulders Scotch Whiskey, and Wholesale Supply Group. We had a great time.
I can tell you what the bottom of every single Milagro bottle that they had in there looks like.
What does it look like?
Clear.
Yeah, we found the bottom of those pretty quickly there after the show.
There ain't much better than being that drunk, having free chicken, and watching Greg Cosell break down some players.
Brian did a really good job. I thought he was great. I thought him and Greg together were that was a really fun dynamic, as long as I, made sure to get the hell out of the way.
Could you feel the excitement for Cam Ward as QB1 in Tennessee from the head coach?
From him, yeah. I think he articulated that pretty well, because we had a number of plays, obviously, for the two of them to break down, and we just threw up Greg had a handful of touchdowns. Brian sent in a few submissions that he wanted specifically too, which weren't touchdowns. In fact, he had a couple of incompletions that he wanted to show off, but it was more on the receiver than it was on Cam for whipping passes around defenders' bodies while he's got guys in his face, stuff like that. So yes, there was palpable excitement, but not just for Cam Ward, for the entirety of it. And you were telling me that you were listening to the Athletics NFL show with Robert Mays and Field Yates, and you got a kick out of a segment that they did on the Titans specifically?
Yes, I was listening on the flight back yesterday, just trying to get caught up on stuff, and they were
Nothing changed, by the way, when you were guys.
No new news.
The same thing we've been doing for 2 straight weeks.
But they were doing their entire podcast based on the messaging from NFL teams in the draft, right? Like, for example, the Steelers, it was, we're not going to let quarterback desperation dictate the way we approach the draft, the way it did a couple years ago with Kenny Pickett, and obviously we saw how that turned out. With the Titans, I loved how Robert Mays put it, that the message the Titans sent in this draft was, we know we messed up and we're sorry. About everything, about the quarterback position, the devotion, the commitment and investment around Will Levis, about the third-round picks and just letting them fly willy-nilly in the Snead trade and the trade up for Levis. We know we messed up, and we're sorry. I got a kick out of that.
Yes. Now, I would get a kick out of the NFL draft coming back to Nashville, but right now there's no plans for that to take place. In fact, 1 week after, did you see this, that the Commanders are going to get the RFK site back, RFK Stadium site back?
Yeah, they're headed actually to D.C. and out of Maryland.
Instead of Landover, Maryland. So 1 week after this announcement comes down, the Washington football team is going to get to reclaim the site of RFK Stadium, which has just been sitting there in disrepair on a great piece of land, riverfront property there that they're trying to get back into. They are now going to host the 2027 NFL draft. So next year the draft is in Pittsburgh, which I add parenthetically. Pittsburgh is actually a really cool city. I think it gets a bad rap just because, generally thought of as more, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Run down?
Yeah, but I think that's just because of the industry that is there in Pittsburgh.
That's like Detroit for me. I always have a good time in Detroit.
I like Detroit a lot. I like the city of Detroit a lot. I like the city of Pittsburgh a lot. I think Pittsburgh's actually well equipped to do the NFL draft. It's very scenic, especially the situation where depending on where they do it, it's going to be, I think, really nice. Beyond Pennsylvania in April, not the best thing in the world. But going to D.C., they're going to put it on the National Mall. Apparently, Uncle Donnie is going to make an announcement at some point today, an official announcement expected at the White House at some point today, that the draft is expected to be held on the National Mall, where you have the Washington Monument, and I believe Axios was the first to report that bit of information. Now, that's all well and good, and that is going to be aesthetically pleasing. That is going to be something that I think, that's the thing that I think D.C. has missed out on a lot of, right? Because you have an NFL franchise, but it's not actually in D.C., you miss out on a lot of cool opportunities that an NFL stadium location closer to the district would give you the opportunity to host. I don't know how often international soccer games, for example, Lucas, are played in Landover, Maryland, but it feels like D.C., an international city, would be a great opportunity or a great place to host more world-scale athletic events that right now you can't do without an actual NFL stadium.
Not a World Cup host city, I don't believe.
On hand. I would be surprised if they were, because, again, where are they going to put them?
Yeah.
Right? They have an MLS team, but the scale of the MLS stadiums is not equipped to host a World Cup.
Yeah, they have their own soccer-specific stadium. It's much smaller scale.
So, D.C., the actual District of Columbia, is trying to get in the game on international sports competition that is also made possible by having a renovated NFL stadium site. And RFK provides them the perfect opportunity to do that. And they're going to start this by bringing the draft to D.C. And that's all well and good. And the draft in Green Bay was fine. And the draft in Detroit looked actually pretty cool. I think it broke the attendance record that was previously held.
750.
By Nashville, and we were like 600, and we were 630, 650, something like that over the course of the 3 days in the rain when it was here back in 2019. Pittsburgh next year, it's become a huge draw. Now, I know Will Leach was the guy that wrote the article for New York Magazine about why the hell does anybody watch the NFL draft, much less attend the NFL draft when most of the players who are getting their names read at the podium aren't actually there for you to see and for you to, feel like they're a part of your team. It's just a party, right? And it's a party around something that's football related, even if it's not actually football. But the NFL has done this really well. Since Nashville, they've incorporated live music into it. They've made it all kind of different. They've made it specific to the locations that they're going to have it. And it's the first time that Washington is going to get to do this. And it's building upon the momentum that the football team being good again is going to provide to the city, even though there's a million different things to do in Washington, D.C. that aren't football related. I still do think that the NFL would like to bring it back here. I thought 2027 would be a perfect opportunity to do so, because theoretically, the new Nissan Stadium is going to be open by the time the 2027 NFL draft comes to town or takes place. Right now, the plan is February of 2027 for the stadium to be. That's their completion. That's their general targeted date. How close or how far away they get from February 2027, I'm sure there will be some level of delay that they have to experience. As long as they can actually play football in the thing by 2027, then they avoid fines from the league and things like that. But what better opportunity to bring it back to Nashville than the year that the Titans are opening their new Nissan Stadium on the reclaimed east bank of the Cumberland River there.
Yeah, I wonder when they're going to start rotating, like layering cities back into the rotation for the draft.
They've done that with the Super Bowl, because that would keep Nashville from having the 2020, what's
29.
29.
Vegas. Yeah, we're talking about Vegas for 29.
Vegas is 29, which would put them, that would be 5 years since the last Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Vegas would have been able to host. And Los Angeles and Vegas are already in that cycle as having opened new stadiums. There's been almost a handshake agreement with the NFL and these organizations that are opening new stadiums that not only will you get the Super Bowl as soon as you're eligible to have the Super Bowl, but it'll put you in turn for a rotation at the Super Bowl. But Nashville's not going to get it in 29, it sounds like, or at least that's not the plan right now.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I wonder when they're going to start doing that for the draft, because this is still fairly new territory. Like, Super Bowl has been hosted in different cities for decades and decades. Like, the draft hasn't started rotating city. It's only been doing this for 10 years. So
has it already been that long?
2015 is when the draft started rotating
Chicago?
around. Yeah, so, over to Chicago, to Philly, to Nashville, to Kansas City, Green Bay, now Washington, Pittsburgh next year. So at some point, they're going to have to start coming back around to cities. So maybe we should have made this a poll question. What will Nashville host next? Its first ever Super Bowl or another NFL draft?
I mean, one would think the Super Bowl. They're not going to build this
One would think. I mean, at this point, it seems like the earliest Nashville will host a Super Bowl would be 2030, right? It's looking like signs are pointing to Vegas for 29.
To get it in 29.
Okay, so
there's nothing concrete from the league, but that's the expectation.
Yeah, so that means you could have, looking like the draft in 27 will be in Washington, you could have the 28 and 29 NFL drafts maybe potentially coming back to Nashville, or will they just continue to cycle through new cities?
How many cities? I mean, are you going to take it to like somewhere like Cincinnati?
Browning on the FNM Bank chat says, give me plus money on the draft. If you could bet on it, he would bet on Nashville hosting another draft before its first ever Super Bowl.
Yeah, because 2030 is still a significant amount of time away, and they're only announcing the draft 2 years out right now. So it's possible that Nashville could get back in the mix. I just think there are so many worse locations that you could take it. Like, don't put the NFL draft in Vegas. I don't even like
That was awful.
The Super Bowl in Vegas is, from what I understand, the logistics of the Super Bowl in Vegas were terrible. I think 3HL made the best out of the situation, but everybody I talked to that was a part of that was just kind of like, this is not well equipped for what this event is supposed to be, or what this event is at its best. And
Vegas is weird with that stuff because no matter how big the event, it still feels like just kind of an auxiliary thing happening in Vegas.
It's not the biggest thing going on.
Yeah.
There's 7,000 different things going on in Las Vegas at any given point. It's like Los Angeles is different because SoFi is so far outside of the perimeter of actual. I mean, you're not hosting the Super Bowl in Beverly Hills, right? Radio Row's in downtown L.A. The Super Bowl is in Inglewood. The facility at SoFi is built out so specifically that you can have everything that you need to have for Super Bowl in Inglewood without ever feeling like you're actually going to L.A. This event, though, for cities that are well equipped to host it, Nashville has so many of the things that I think put you in position to succeed both on a Super Bowl front and on a draft front because of how logistically convenient everything is. That's the thing about Vegas. It's not logistically convenient for any of this stuff.
I'm curious as to how the draft experience was in Green Bay because it looked very aesthetically pleasing. Like Lambeau is, I mean, it's a stunning place to go if you're a football fan. That is probably the NFL stadium I've walked into that I was most just taken aback and it just takes your breath away. The history of Lambeau Field, even watching on TV, it was cool. I thought it was very aesthetically pleasing, but I do wonder for the NFL fan that went to Green Bay for the draft a couple weeks ago, what it was like after, all the festivities of the picks and the names being called and you're there, you're at the draft, and then it's like, okay, now what?
You're going to have one bar in the shadow of Lambeau. Yeah. Everybody pile in.
Yeah, like in Nashville, there's a million different things you can go do after you're done with the draft or you want to get away from the crowd. But
unless
in Green
you're
Bay,
a bachelorette party that forgot the draft was here that weekend and then you're a little bit banged.
You know where I would be excited to go watch the draft at? New Orleans.
Oh.
New Orleans would be a fantastic spot to have the
New
draft.
Orleans is an incredible host city for anything like that. Jason Fitz from Yahoo and Fox Sports has texted in. He's a Vegas proponent. He spent a good deal of his life in Vegas, saying that we are slandering the city of Las Vegas unnecessarily.
I do love Vegas. I go
sure,
like
but
once
you don't
a year.
love Vegas for that.
I would, only because there's other things to do. Like if you're going to Vegas, your girlfriend or your wife's going to be like, I want to go to Vegas, and your buddy's wife's going to want to go. Like they're not going to want to do draft stuff the whole time. You could go to Circa, do stadium swim. You could go see shows. You can go to the Grand Canyon. Like there's plenty of stuff around it where you could be inundated with things not draft wise. Like in Nashville, when the draft came here, like even though there's a bunch of stuff to do here, the city was inundated with, oh, it's draft. The bachelorette party's complaining, do they do this every year?
Yeah.
Like in Vegas, you would have other things to do. And in Nashville, you would have those similar if you left the city. But New Orleans would be exceptional. I also wonder if they wouldn't have a centralized location that does not have an NFL team in it. Like Orlando would make a lot of sense for the draft for me.
Interesting.
ESPN would love that because they've already got. That's why they've got the Pro Bowl deal because what is it? Camping World Stadium is there.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have
sports.
Mickey Mouse announcing picks. People would be at Epcot. You would be at any Disney property announcing picks. Like visually, it would be a lot of fun. Now I don't know if everybody would dig that as much as I would. I love going around the world at Epcot.
I'd love that. We're like, can Mickey?
Yeah,
the 49ers select
with the number 1 overall pick. The Tennessee Titans select Cam Ward. Was not good.
That was so bad. He started leaking confidence in the middle of his Mickey.
Yeah, I know. I lost it. I used to do a great Mickey impression.
I didn't hate that. That wasn't bad.
Okay, that doesn't mean keep trying it.
You got to get better.
He's going to workshop it every hour of the radio show. This is the level of professionalism that he brings back from wherever the hell he was.
Well, this is the moment we get knocked off the rails that everybody complains about. Have you guys seen the movies that are being spawned out of what's it called when something sticks around for so long and then no one has the copyright to it? And so it's happening with a lot of Disney stories right now.
Where I'm not really sure what it is, but like essentially your rights agreement expires and then somebody can get in on that. I don't know.
So that happened with Steamboat Willie, which was the first cartoon that Mickey Mouse appeared in. They are making a horror movie about
they did this with Winnie the Pooh,
and it was terribly awesome. It was bad. It was like Sharknado. They've done it with Winnie the Pooh. They've done it all in that. I need to know that phrase. It's going to drive me crazy. But I say all that to say.
I don't need you to say anything else. I need you to go find Goofy, the sound of Goofy falling off a cliff, and I need that. No, I need you to find that.
He just did.
I need you to find that, not do it.
In the meantime, there is a
public domain. Thank you.
Public domain.
The F&M Bank
yes,
chat.
F&M Bank
always
chat.
coming through.
Well, it's because we're bad at this.
Harold Hockett coming through. There is a little bit of news in Nashville. Arena football news. John Gruden has joined the Nashville Cats ownership group as a partner. Jeff Fisher making the announcement today that Gruden will be a partner with consulting and advisory roles in all aspects of the team's football and business operations. I think we might need to get Coach Gruden on, talk a little arena football.
See, that was way better than yours.
Yeah, it was close.
His was pretty close.
615-737-1045. Do you have anything to read since you've come back? Nothing? Unprepared? For
Don't do that. It's my fault. I didn't print them off.
I'm sorry. It's the thing that we agreed upon that he was going to do in the middle of these long
Join
segments.
1045 The Zone for the 2025 Golf Classic presented by Ferguson, Monday, June 9th at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club. It's coming up only a month away, located in the heart of Cool Springs. This historic golf course features breathtaking panoramic views of the beautiful Middle Tennessee countryside. Purchase your team today. You got 2 flights to choose from, 8 a.m. or 1 p.m., and spend the day teeing off with us. To purchase a team, visit 1045thezone.com. I imagine the weather will be much, much nicer than it is today. Was not happy to come back from gorgeous Dominican Republic to, what is this, rainy? It feels like a rainy January Monday.
It was like 49 degrees when I left this morning to go work out.
49 degrees in May feels like 32 degrees to me.
Yeah, not ideal. To the phones. Let's go to Scoob, who was in the house on Friday. What's happening?
Hey, how's it going, bud?
Good, buddy.
I was just going to let you know, I was invited to a draft panel when I went to the draft, and they were saying that there's 20 more cities that will be getting the draft before we get it back in Nashville.
20?
So 20 more cities. NFL cities.
And what was the nature of this panel, if you could help the audience understand, like who was this city officials, was this league officials?
It was league officials that set up the draft.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
I was invited to the draft panel when I went to the draft.
Okay.
Nice.
And also they were saying that definitely 2031 Super Bowl is what they're thinking. And it'll be a while before we get the draft.
Okay, there you go, Scoop.
That's unfortunate.
The inside scoop. Hey, how was your Green Bay draft experience overall?
It was really good. It was really good. Like you said, it was a lot of wide open space with nothing around and a couple bars. But it was really fun. It was a great time. It was a lot of fun.
Well, we appreciate you calling in, Scoob. Thanks for the intel. 20 more cities. So this is what he is bringing back from the Green Bay draft, so the most recent draft.
I mean, it makes sense. I guess they're going to go to all 32 NFL markets, it sounds like.
Yeah, but why?
Because at this point, we're 10 years into this rotation. 2027 will be in Washington, 20 more cities. That pretty much rounds out to 32.
Again, that doesn't answer my question as to why. Some of these cities should not host.
What's the worst NFL market to host the draft? I mean, Green Bay logistically.
Jacksonville. Downtown Jacksonville sucks. And I have no rooting allegiance. This is not based out of,
I didn't think it was that bad.
Jacksonville?
It wasn't that bad. I mean, it's Florida. Like, it's
no, this
inland
is not
Florida.
This is like a scene out of one of these, like the newer Star Wars movies with an island or a city built on stilts just in a rainy atmosphere the entire time that you think it's just going to sink into the sea at some point. That's what Jacksonville is.
Beach isn't too far away.
Jack's Beach is not Jacksonville. They're not having the draft at Jack's Beach.
No,
They're
I know,
having
but
track
it's a
Jacksonville.
reason. Lonzo says Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati.
Cincy would also suck for that.
I always enjoy
You
going
go to the
Cincinnati.
zoo, you have their crappy chili. Like, what else are you going to do there?
Their chili stinks.
Nah, Cincinnati, underrated city.
That's not true.
Underrated by who?
By all of you, apparently. I always enjoy my time in Cincy.
After the zoo, I'm through.
Go pay your respects
Oh, you're doing a Harambe.
to Harambe.
He's just trying to do, what are you trying to rhyme back there?
No, I was just done.
Oh, okay. Very good. Thank God this segment is
We
done.
got to run.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's almost 10:41.
I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. I hate Lest you think these two idiots stop doing the jokes that they think are funny in the commercial break. Robert kept it going even after you walked out and went to the bathroom. The show's just begun. We've had a lot of fun.
I wish today was a rerun.
Yeah. All three of us, I think, thought about calling out today.
Oh, my tummy hurts. All three of us. What would they do? I don't even know what they do.
It probably would rate just as well with us as without us, but, we don't have to let them find out.
Yeah, I can't let that happen.
No, not quite. 615-737-1045 is the number. All right, so speaking of dumb things, this seems to be Bert's wheelhouse. Why is it just say in my rundown, rookie nicknames? What have you brought to the table? Is it something substantive, or are you just going to make more rhyming jokes?
No, because every year we add potential names to the Hall of Fame name club in the NFL, whether it was Jake Butts or Cavassier Smoke, Sincere McCormick. Every year we have new guys who come in whose names are awesome. This year, Tonka Hemingway, a ton of different guys. But then I found out this year's class has something objectively better than just a good name. They have better nicknames. So I found out these two. There are two that I have acquired. The first one, it is Philadelphia's defensive tackle out of Nebraska. His nickname is the Vanilla Gorilla, which I think is appropriate after all of our conversations about Ty Robinson's his actual name, but I would never call him that. After our conversations about 100 men.
What, are you going to call him Mr. Vanilla?
I would be like, Vanilla Gorilla, here is your did you guys ever watch, what was the one that came on Comedy Central? Magilla Gorilla for sale. Magilla Gorilla for sale.
Yeah.
Did y'all watch those?
Yeah.
That was killer. I would only call, Mr. Gorilla, Mr. Vanilla Gorilla, VG for short. And then I also found out.
Do you know that damn 100 men versus a gorilla? So you guys know I'm 100 years old. I read my New York Times newsletter every morning that comes to my email at 5:30 in the morning.
Did it make it there?
It made it in the damn New York Times newsletter. This is such a cultural phenomenon, apparently, that we're all infatuated with the idea of, could one gorilla survive 100 guys?
I think it's more, could 100 men survive one gorilla?
Again, like John Gruden, I am Team Gorilla. I hope each one of those 100 people gets their face smashed in. Anyway, so what do you want to do? You want to apply that to the Titans? You've been trying to come up with Cam Ward merch that we can grift off of without telling him, so that we can make up money off his name without him making money off his name, in a reverse name, image, and likeness type of situation. What are you trying to apply these sensibilities to the Titans for?
I would like to find out the funniest nicknames in all of sports, and I would like to see if we could attribute any of those to the newest Titans rookies. I'm already pretty big on Gunnar Helm. I think he could be Helm's Deep. If you're a Lord of the Rings nerd like me, Helm's Deep was never broken through until Saruman's army came through. Then the horns of Hammer, they came through. He could be Helm's Deep. But what spawned this idea was Aeneas Peebles out of Virginia Tech, defensive tackle, drafted by the Ravens in the 6th round. His nickname is Fub, F-U-B, Fub. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, I need to know more. Well, he was at rookie minicamp for the Ravens last week, and he told us where he got that nickname from.
Well, I got the nickname Fub when I was a little kid. So, I rarely even hear my government name nowadays. But, when I was a baby, I was fat and chubby, so they always called me Fubby growing up. And, now that I got older, it got shortened to Fub. So, I ran with it.
Fub.
Have you ever heard Blaine talk about his childhood nickname?
No.
Woody?
Stop it.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
He's talked about it a ton on the air. I won't do it justice, but because Blaine, in his words, will tell you he was a big old baby and he liked to eat, and he would eat like a woodchuck. And so they started calling him Woody. And he was Woody. Blaine was Woody, through high school. Like, he says there are still people from home that will call him Woody from Indiana.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he would obviously do a much better job telling it than me. But yeah. So I love those, man. I love those nicknames that just devolve into something that are a total departure from what it was even initially supposed to be.
Yeah, because we all have that one friend, right, that started with one nickname, and then as it becomes more casual with your friend group, it just devolves.
Yeah. That was me. When I was a freshman on the freshman soccer team, the guys on the team that were from Mexico called me Pachuca. Pachuca is a huge city in Mexico. It's a huge soccer club. And Panzica, Pachuca, they just call me Pachuca.
Are we sure that's what it meant? Did you look that up?
I'm positive.
Pachuca, I'm kind of scared saying it.
Pachuca. It's a massive city in the country of Mexico, I can assure you. And it was just Pachuca, and then that devolved into Juca, and then that devolved into Juke. So Pachuca, going from Pachuca, turned
Calling you Juke after the ankle injury you sustained at Juco soccer.
Oh, see, and I loved it because it made me sound cool and athletic, which I wasn't at all.
You are quite the opposite.
That's right. It was very misleading, which I appreciated.
Y'all remember Poop?
Was it Poop Johnson?
Poop Johnson.
The defensive tackle out of Kentucky?
That is correct. Just because he had big poops. His name was Corey Johnson.
So it's like Slay is really good at this. Slay gives out nicknames. Like Jackson always has that dumbass smile on his face for reasons that are beyond me because he's not good enough at his job to be smiling as often as he does. But he smiles constantly, and Slay calls him Smiley. Mm-hmm. That's a good nickname. What does he call Joseph?
Joseph is Zeph.
No, Lizard Boy.
No, that's what you call him.
Well, it's because he killed a lizard in the copy machine the other day.
Brent is Mayor, but he calls him Yorl.
Yeah, that's one of those that devolves over time because it started Mayor, then it becomes Mayoral, and now Brent's just Yorl.
And then probably do that with your pets too. Like Winston is Stony.
Yeah, but
Paris is Perini.
So what are you just gonna start devolving Cam Ward? Because Cam Ward's Zoom name when he got on the Zoom call with us after he was drafted was C Boogie. But people keep trying to do like warden and prison things with Cam Ward as a nickname. But
so when y'all talked to Cam Ward, the name showing on his Zoom was C Boogie?
C Boogie.
I like that.
But if they say his nickname's Houdini, I think that's what the media is going to give him as a nickname is Houdini. I like that.
Houdini is an undeniably awesome nickname for a quarterback.
Yeah, until it proves to be something else at the professional level, and Myles Garrett is like, Houdini who? Watch, I'm going to make you disappear, man.
Disappear into Myles Garrett. He'll just eat you.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll let him play a little bit before he can be Houdini in the NFL.
Yeah, you really do have to earn those nicknames.
C Boogie, I can't hit you over the head with afterwards.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is I need people. We have a lot of unique names in this draft class. I think we need to, when they're going to be on the show, when we're going to talk to them, I think we need to come up with nicknames.
All right, who are you starting with?
No, I didn't say I didn't say I was coming up with it. I was asking other people to help come up with it.
This is your department. You're the creative department around here.
What would you? I would probably call him.
I don't trust you on the fly like this. We're going to walk into some dangerous territory that I don't think you want to be a part of.
See, everybody calls him Femi, but I think Dejo is way cooler.
That is cool.
But
it does have to be organic.
Yeah. I think Buck's just being a big hater because he doesn't have any cool nicknames. All his nicknames
name is
are
literally a nickname.
All the rhyming parts of your name that you could rhyme Buck with are words we're not allowed to say on the radio. Mm-hmm. That people make names up in the chat about you.
That's how it was born. Buck the... Yeah.
Yeah, well...
It has to be organic. Like,
Chimray DK, they've just been calling him Chim.
Okay.
See, that's flat.
Yeah.
I need a little hump to it.
What am I going to do with Alec Iamaner?
I don't want you to do nothing.
The eye doctor? What do you got for me?
It'd be like, okay, Manor. Be like, man, live in a big old house. I don't know. Something's got to happen. I'm telling people.
You literally have a running back named Superman, and you haven't said anything about it.
Yeah, well, his is already figured out, and that ain't funny. I'm telling you, everybody needs to put it in their noggin when we go to rookie camp, when we go to OTAs, when something happens, we need to be ready to come up with new nicknames. As soon as somebody poops in their pants, I'm cool with having a Poop Johnson on the Titans.
It's going to be you. If we had to pick out by percentage chance who's most likely to poop themselves.
I don't believe that.
Fast money's on you, bud.
I would pick Lucas. I think Lucas would be the first one to do it.
You didn't sound confident in that.
Yeah. I wasn't. I probably pooped myself in the studio.
There's literally evidence of you pooping your pants during a wrestling meet. You are the pants pooper.
Why are you bringing up old stuff? Anyway, far be it for me to try to have fun with you. I knew Buck was going to shoot this down, but I really just wanted to talk about Vanilla Gorilla and Fub and see if we can come up with some more of those.
All right. Well, we'll elicit some PR help to do just that. Bill Belichick needs PR help. In fact, he's citing outside sources because his 24-year-old girlfriend ain't getting it done. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Don't fake financial wherewithal. Make sure that you have Trajan Wealth on hand to walk you through the process, whether you're looking at trying a new investment strategy or just want to make sure that your retirement portfolio is ready to go. If you've got spring cleaning on the list to do, don't forget to refresh your finances while you're at it. Trajan Wealth can help you tidy up your wealth management strategy like they have helped so many other people do. The simple truth is that there is more to retirement planning than simply calculating your expenses. Trajan Wealth can help you design a strategy based on realistic options that align with your goals and circumstances. So call Trajan Wealth today and get on the right track. They got 2 locations in Brentwood and Franklin. The number is real easy, 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000, or visit them online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement.
It is 11 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzika. As the dust settles on the 2025 NFL Draft, the host city for 2027 is being revealed. It will reportedly be in Washington, D.C. at the National Mall where the Washington Monument stands. The 2026 NFL Draft will be held in Pittsburgh. In college football news today, Michigan head coach Sharon Moore is expected to be banned for 2 games in the 2025 season as part of self-imposed sanctions by the university for the Connor Stallions sign-stealing scandal. According to ESPN, the suspension is for weeks 3 and 4 against Central Michigan and Nebraska. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Now, plenty of people make decisions in real time and then come back a little later and be like, man, I wish I would have done that, or told this joke, or had this one off, or just revisiting things after the fact. You're always better in your own head 20 minutes after the thing that you're supposed to be doing in real time actually goes down. Well, apparently Bill Belichick is feeling some of that similarly after his, I wouldn't call it a disaster of a CBS This Morning interview, but it was definitely awkward and started a bit of a fuss. Lucas, I know that you were in Punta Cana, probably far, far away from all of these things, although I did see you spending entirely too much time on Instagram. You need to, you accuse me of being on my phone too much. I think I'm better at checking out on vacation than you are.
No, just sharing some experiences.
Not that. I don't mean posting what you're doing. I mean just going through everybody else's stuff. What are you doing looking at every story that we post? It's okay.
There's a little bit of downtime.
Yeah. No, I think he didn't share enough. It looked like all the pictures that he put up were from the same day. I feel like you're Nona or something. I'm like, you did something else. You ate something else. You were on the beach. Show me some pictures.
Anyway, so Belichick, did you see this interview?
I did. This was blowing up like last Monday, I think.
It was, because it was CBS Sunday Morning.
Yeah, like right before I left, this was all over the place.
Yes, and so since then, there have been statements released by Bill Belichick. There have been statements released by CBS. And now Bill Belichick is reportedly exploring the possibility of making a major move within his own camp after the scrutiny over his interview with CBS. He has been in talks with at least one public relations expert with hopes of increasing interest in his book and the program in general for several months, according to Pro Football Talk, who reported this yesterday. So the whole reason he was on CBS was the book. And Bill Belichick told on himself in the statement that he released about how unhappy he was with the CBS interview, because he said that they talked for 35 minutes and the only thing that people cared about was the 6 minutes where Jordan Hudson's in the middle of it. Because, all right, if I told you that Bill Belichick was writing a book, he has. How interested in the Bill Belichick book are we collectively?
Is there an audiobook?
Is he reading it?
Oh, that signed me up for that.
Probably not going to read it.
I agree with you, but that's counter to how that I would think about Bill Belichick my entire life, because I know he's an encyclopedic football mind, and I want to know more about how he came to be the person that he is. But there's so many different things out there already about Bill Belichick that are probably better than his self, whether it's an autobiography, I'm not sure the nature of the book, whether it's lessons in leadership, that kind of theme, the way that Urban Meyer did. And then, Urban Meyer famously has a couple of missteps as far as the leadership stuff goes. Like, I don't think that the vast majority of people are interested in his mistake is putting it out after Tom Brady won the Bucs Super Bowl. Like, Bill Belichick, prior to Tom Brady winning another Super Bowl without him, was a vastly more interesting figure than he is right now, because he spent all the last year trying to make himself more interesting as a media personality. I think he did well enough with that, and he obviously knows football at a higher level than just about anybody in the world. But, I don't really care what's in Bill Belichick's book.
Well, he is trying to make you care. The reporting is from Pro Football Talk that he has been talking to at least one experienced PR specialist in the hopes of boosting his book tour and or the overall interest of the North Carolina football program. he has been having conversations with former Bears VP of Communications, Brandon Faber. According to Mike Florio, these discussions have been occurring for a couple of months for now. However, nothing has been completed or formalized. Basically, his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, has been doing all of the PR stuff, both for North Carolina and the book, digital strategy, marketing, all of these things. I did not go to PR school. I studied journalism. And as you know.
Did you?
Yeah, I know. Hard to believe. As you know, though, one of the main foundational concepts of journalism is never become the story, right? I would imagine.
As the interviewer?
Correct.
Yeah.
I imagine it's pretty similar.
Something I stick to plenty, huh?
Right. I imagine it's pretty similar from a PR standpoint, right? Or for a publicist, is you do not want the attention on yourself. So couldn't they have foreseen something like this? What's more interesting? Bill Belichick.
Couldn't he have foreseen a CBS interviewer asking him about his beach yoga with his 24-year-old girlfriend? Of course he could have foreseen this coming.
Like, if she is as in touch with digital strategy and you know how to spin things the right way and make sure that he's in the public eye, shouldn't she know that people are going to care more about Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend and their personal and professional relationship than the book he's trying to sell?
Yeah, the problem is, and I talked about this a little bit while you were gone, right? We are in an age of media fracturing that has given people as many options as they've ever had to consume the kind of stuff that they want to consume, right? And I do think that there is so much good being done by the fact that athletes and coaches and other people who have, for the longest part of their lives, had to go through a third party to get their message out there, that they can retake control of some of the narrative if they feel like they're not covered properly or they feel like they have more insight and information and can have better conversations with their interview subjects than a lot of stiff media folks. I totally get that. I also don't like the part about it where it lets them control how they want to be perceived as opposed to who they actually are and all the other stuff, all the dirtier stuff that's also in their background that helped them get to that point or to be that person that they ultimately become. It's not all sunshine and roses and things like that, right? So Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson are going into this thinking that they can control the narrative of CBS and that they're just there to talk book. And they're there to talk ball. And Bill Belichick's done 101 of these. What's one CBS Good Morning interview going to do that Bill Belichick hasn't done a million times over on Boston radio or press conferences after games or whatever? And they go in there thinking that she's going to be able to basically tell CBS how to journalistically interview her guy. And CBS looking around me like, honey, we're even going to put you on camera in the background. I don't know if you know this or not, but we got a camera trained on you as you're barking orders at us this whole time through. You don't get to dictate the questions that you're asked. They did you a courtesy by having you on CBS Good Mornings to talk about your book that nobody seems to care about. And you think you get to tell them what they get to ask and don't ask? Man, kick rocks.
This headline cracked me up, I have to say. Like there was an audible chuckle for me when I scrolled past Pro Football Talk. Bill Belichick explores hiring outside PR help. Like, oh, wow, really? The 24-year-old with no PR experience isn't doing a good job managing his book tour. Amazing. I'm shocked.
How does he break that news to her?
Oh, man, I don't know. It's cracked me up.
Now listen, honey. We're just going to watch the tape and improve.
You got to do your job.
Just do your job.
So what PR advice do we have for Bill Belichick?
What's the best?
I mean, he's taking it from just about anybody.
Probably break up with the 24-year-old Bill. I don't know. I mean, that's the best PR advice I can offer him. That's the thing that seems to be putting him in the spotlight that he seems least comfortable with. The best PR advice I can offer him is, what are you doing? We played some audio from Charles Barkley last week while you were gone. Barkley, a good friend, a personal friend of Bill Belichick. He's on Dan Patrick's show. Dan Patrick asks him, what's Bill doing? And he says, yeah, I don't comment on people's personal relationships, but this one I may check in on. And like Charles Barkley, has moments like that where he's like, I don't do this, but really. And then he tells you how he actually feels. But if he's happy, and it's the thing in his life that makes him the happiest at this point in time, and he's really, in a relationship that he feels like he's getting the most out of, and maybe they are soulmates and all these different things. But if it's not that, and you're having some doubts, and you're making missteps, and you're being made to look, he's being made to look a bit like a buffoon. The greatest coach in the history of the NFL is a bit of a laughingstock of late. And I don't think he likes that. I know that man. I'm not saying that I know Bill Belichick personally, obviously, but I know that that person cares about how he's received. He cares about how he's respected. He cares about how he's going to be remembered. And the thing that has been vastly more interesting than Bill Belichick's 20-plus years of coaching the New England Patriots and winning 6 Super Bowls is why the hell is he on a beach with his 24-year-old girlfriend dressed as a mermaid? He's a fisherman, and he's trying to reel her in. What are you doing, Bill?
I don't even care about that. For me, it's why is she on these emails with school officials dictating marketing strategy for the North Carolina football program? She's the same age as half of the football team. Like, that to me was, like, just because she's young, she knows how to operate the digital strategy of a behemoth football program in the ACC. Come on.
It's the face. He couldn't even get the app name right before her. Come on. He's bringing her into the she's bringing him into the 21st century.
Listen, I think both you guys got it wrong. I think here would be my PR advice. Double down. Get another 24-year-old, maybe 2 more, have that much more experience, and call them the Belichicks. They handle all of his PR. They write songs. They get him in commercials. He gets TV hits, and he'll be successful as long as he's got the Belichicks by his side.
That's fair. 3 24-year-olds, that is more experience than one 24-year-old.
Somebody do the math. That's carry the 2.
Take your time.
62?
There we go.
Wow.
Oh,
that is 62 years of life experience.
We don't use Texas instrument back.
Almost as much as Bill.
His girlfriend is still not as old as he is. Come on.
Hey, no, but you...
Just wait until I'm 70.
I'm about to say I'm jealous.
But I was going to say... I feel like you have flipped on this. I feel like we talked about these emails coming out, the Freedom of Information Act with the emails, and you were like, hey, I get it. Come on, she can do a better job than these people that are employed by the university.
Oh, I don't remember having that conversation.
I feel like
employed by the university?
I feel like I had to push back against you saying, no, just because she's 24 doesn't mean she knows what she's doing.
Why would I say that?
I don't know.
I have no reason to have said that.
I think
Look at that face.
You were very much just like, oh, but she's young, so she knows InstaFace.
I don't see the problem with this is I don't remember anything that I say in front of a microphone, and I have 4 hours a day to talk in front of a microphone.
You had no problems with her being this involved with North Carolina, like as a non-employee of the university, being looped into emails of make sure Jordan is in on this, on how to frame this tweet, on how to go about.
Until they did a CBS Good Morning interview, and then she made a mess of it, and now he's a laughing
I'm just saying,
stock.
we should have had those doubts from the very beginning.
I have new information now. If that was
that's all the information you needed.
If that was in fact my opinion, then I now have new information that I've allowed myself to adapt my opinion. I don't remember that conversation though.
Whenever they inevitably break up, and she sells the rights to their story to
also
Hallmark.
at 72, we were wrong.
What is You're kidding. Oh, my God. So he is, that's still.
I think he's still older, isn't he? Isn't he 73? No, Pete Carroll's 73.
He's 73.
Oh, God.
He just turned 73.
All right, we were still right.
You were saying, Robert.
Oh, if when they inevitably break up and she sells their rights to a Hallmark movie, what's the movie going to be called? The Rebuild?
The Rebuild?
Yeah, you got it. You picked up what I was putting down.
Oh.
What about Deflated? Or
no.
I don't know.
What's getting deflated there?
His ego?
It's
to play off the New
probably not the only
England
thing that's getting inflated.
Make him sit in.
We'll workshop it.
Make him know.
615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. Luke is in Nashville up next.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I feel like everybody, when this first started, kind of wanted to, mind their own business and, ignore the big age gap. But I think, she's bringing a lot of dishonor herself. So, for one, since they've been dating, she has now a real estate portfolio valued at between $8 and $9 million.
Yeah.
So, whatever, that's cool. But now it's also come out that two things. For Hard Knocks, when they were in talks with them, she wanted her name to be on executive producer credits. And then, what was the other one?
forcing her way into the commercial.
No, the
Yes,
Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
The Dunkin' Donuts
Yeah.
commercial, yeah.
The
So
Super Bowl
she, I
commercial.
guess, maybe it was all or nothing, take it or leave it. But put herself in that commercial. So the whole thing is just super weird. Obviously, she's leveraging her position in the relationship, but I think that's what makes it so talked about. As we try to ignore the age gap and just let love be love, but like these actions are just.
Thank you for the call, Luke. That's 60 seconds on the clock. So we're good with love is love until the 24-year-old starts to pick up $8 million in real estate investments and she probably got paid to put herself or got paid from putting herself in the Dunkin' Donuts commercial as well, right? She's not doing that pro bono.
I didn't even notice her. Did y'all notice her?
I did not until it started picking up traction this week on Awful Announcing.
When I saw the headline come up, my dyslexia kicked in, and I was like, when was Jennifer Hudson in the dadgum commercial? I didn't even see her.
Jennifer Hudson. People are in shock that the three of us could not figure out how much 24 times 3 was.
Well, y'all didn't help. Y'all made me do it.
I was going to let you flounder out there by yourself.
Y'all were all cool with 62, though. Y'all were all cool with that.
Yeah,
Everybody
nobody
was like,
said-
yep.
Nobody
Good.
said a damn thing.
You're so stupid.
Oh, Cam Ward, his development or the player stylistically has been compared to Patrick Mahomes. Now, how can the Titans try to maximize his development so he can try to at least achieve at a reasonably high level, if not a Mahomesian level? We'll talk about it coming up next.
Hey guys, it's Lucas. I want to tell you about a really cool event coming up on May 17th. It's Beer Fest at Game Terminal. Now, you may hear Beer Fest, but I promise you it's more than just beer. Get ready for a day filled with beer, cider, and alcohol tastings at an unforgettable in-person festival. We're talking about that 8,000 square foot back patio at Game Terminal, housing over 35 tastings of alcohol on a growing list of over 24 different vendors. Music will be there with a DJ, games, fun, excitement. If you haven't been to Game Terminal, you think you've been to an arcade bar, and then you go to Game Terminal and you realize what a legit arcade bar is. Over 250 games spanning 40 years. Pinball to Pac-Man, everything in between. Game Terminal has got everything you've ever wanted to play. You can hang out inside playing games. You can hang out outside on a beautiful day on that back patio enjoying all of the different tastings. There will be great food as well and a gift bag and swag included with each purchase. It's $40 online. Go to 1045thezone.com. $50 if you show up at the door. And the best part, it's a charity event. Proceeds will go to the Nashville Humane Society. I will see you there. Beer Fest at Game Terminal, Saturday, May 17th from 2 to 6 p.m.
Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Gang's all here, Lucas, Burt, and me with you for about an hour and a half longer. We'll see if we can avoid doing any more math. As many of you have told us, we are incapable. You knew this, but it's just nice to have a reminder. From time to time, the question now becomes, what is Cam Ward capable of? Eric Morris was on 3HL. What was that, last week, 2 weeks ago?
I believe last Monday. You can go back and listen on the 3HL podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Mm-hmm. And if you're unfamiliar with Eric Morris, he is currently the head football coach at the University of North Texas, but his career has put him in contact with both Cam Ward and Patrick Mahomes. He was the offensive coordinator of Texas Tech back in 2013 and was there
through 2017
for a period of time, and then went on to, he's had several different stops, including Washington State, which is where his Cam Ward encounter first manifested.
No, Incarnate Word. He was the head coach at Incarnate Word.
Oh, I have him here. I'm looking, though they left that out of his North Texas resume.
No, he was the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech under Cliff Kingsbury. We know Kingsbury called the plays,
Yes.
but he was the OC there when Mahomes was the quarterback. Mahomes was drafted in 2017, correct? So 2017
Yes.
was his last year there. He takes the head coaching job at Incarnate Word and finds this kid at a camp named Cam Ward. Eric Morris essentially discovered Cam Ward.
Okay.
And was basically that only offer.
They have a tiny little byline here at the bottom of his North Texas bio. Previously served as head coach at Incarnate Word in San Antonio for 4 seasons, 2018 through 2021. Anyway,
Right. So
he goes from
Ward
Incarnate
followed
Word
him to Washington State.
with Washington State, and obviously Cam Ward, the experience is where Cam Ward started to take on or started to develop at a higher level to start to become the player that we see now in front of us today. Miami was obviously the final evolution of it, and Eric Morris was good enough to stop by 3HL and kind of share his experiences with the rest of the crew. So this was him talking about Cam Ward and also working a little bit of a Mahomes metaphor into the mix.
Yeah, I think definitely. Now, I think, the one thing that is they both make these plays off platform, where something breaks down, they get out of the pocket and some miraculous throw across their bodies. They can drop their arm angles and they make these, just unbelievable plays that everybody sees on SportsCenter. The one thing that I can say that makes me confident in saying that he has the potential to be as good as Mahomes. Now, he knows as much as anybody. He's got a lot of work to do to win those Super Bowls and titles that Mahomes has this early in his career. Mm-hmm. But I do think that his study habits are equally as good as Patrick's, and that's one thing I don't think people talk about enough with Patrick is the way he prepares, how smart he is, and Cam has those same intangibles off the field. And so he's going to be somebody that's going to be willing to put in the work. He's going to be somebody that's going to dive into the playbook. I mean, he's all about ball. He's infatuated with it. And so I do think from that aspect, I think that he's going to give himself a chance in this next league because he's going to immerse himself in his teammates and in the playbook and the coaches and be somebody that other people want to play along with.
So that's Eric Morris, a part of Eric Morris's interview with 3HL. And talking about the intangibles, we've heard all about the intangibles. Josh Pate has talked about it. Chad Brinker was in here last week talking about it. Brian Callahan spent a good deal of time on it on Friday night. I'm really looking forward to. Bert, are we going to be able to put the podcast up on Tuesday? Do we know that?
What are you asking me for?
I don't know who else to ask.
I ain't in charge of none of that. All of the things I am in charge of, all of my purview, all of the land that the sun hits, that is not inside of it. That is inside Scarland or wherever the hell them hyenas lived.
All right, very good. Either way, Brian Callahan talked about it at length on Friday night with Greg Cosell and me on the live pod. So I'm really I'm trying to make sure that I temper my expectations for this player. Because the two things that make Cam Ward's situation unique from Patrick Mahomes are what? Can anybody in the class tell me? From when they were drafted to the organizations that they got drafted to, beyond just the time period and 2017 and 2025? What's the difference between Cam Ward and the Titans versus Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs?
Well, there's a few. I mean, Patrick Mahomes
The two
had
big ones, though.
the luxury of sitting
That's
for a
one.
year behind Alex Smith and for playing for both one of the best head coaches and quarterback developers in the NFL and Andy Reid, and in a team that was in a great situation at the time in the Kansas City Chiefs.
They had a lot more help on their roster for Alex Smith and by extension Mahomes than the Titans do by a mile. They also had Alex Smith, so there was no great urgency. They were making the playoffs. They were winning divisions. They were 11 and 10 and 12 win teams.
Yeah, hosted the Tennessee Titans in a playoff game.
That's right. And Travis Kelce was concussed by Jonathan Cyprien because Travis Kelce was eating them alive the entire first half in that playoff game. And then after Travis Kelce went out, it became a completely different game. And the Titans were able to pull off the upset at Arrowhead. This is a much different situation. I don't think we are talking about a team in the Titans that is completely without any help whatsoever. I think Tony Pollard is helpful. Bert, I don't know how drunk you were by this point.
Very.
But when Callahan brought up Tony Pollard playing through injury all year last year, I think that's the first time we knew that they were managing him certainly towards the back half of the season.
Yeah, he missed a game or two, right, in that back stretch.
I believe he noted that happened pretty early in the season.
He said that
too.
basically the entire year Tony Pollard was playing with an injury.
Impressive. Career year.
So Tony Pollard, career year, despite injury, Tony Pollard coming back with a better offensive line and theoretically a better quarterback situation.
And at the age of 28, right? Like Pollard is one of those guys that it feels like he's been around, but 28 years old. Like he should be in the prime of his career.
He and Jamal Adams are the same age, and that perplexes me, but, that's neither here nor there. Calvin Ridley is also not just some schlub, right? Calvin Ridley is a 1,000-yard receiver with two of the worst quarterback situations that you've ever seen. And he was able to make something out of that. Now, did it translate to wins? Of course not. They were a 3-win football team. But there are things here that will be able to help support Cam Ward beyond what they've just additionally brought in. There's not much. There's not Tyreek Hill. There's not Travis Kelce. There's not Eric Fisher holding down the left tackle position, right? There's not Alex Smith to give you a bit of a buffer. But there are some things that can help Cam Ward at least head down the right path that way. I don't think that the comparison to Mahomes is going to manifest. I just don't think we should compare anybody to the career trajectory of Mahomes. And I don't think that's what Eric Morris was doing in that clip with 3HL. He's just saying that because of who Cam is off the field, he has the potential to give himself the opportunity to do some of the stuff that Pat is doing, right? Because of the way that he prepares, because of the way that he studies, because of the leadership abilities that he brings that cannot necessarily be quantified. All of those things help you achieve what you're ultimately trying to set out to achieve, even if you don't outright reach the ceiling that the other guy has.
I want to help you and everybody listening achieve a ticket to Game Terminal's 4th annual Beer Fest, Saturday, May 17th. It's going to be awesome. We'll be there. A day filled with beer, cider, alcohol tastings, games, fun, excitement. Tickets are $40 online, $50 at the door. There will be beer, alcohol, and cider tastings, gift bag, and swag. That's all included with every purchase. And a portion of proceeds go to the Nashville Humane Association. For more info, to purchase tickets, go to 1045thezone.com/events. We will see you there. Game Terminal, an awesome venue with every game you could possibly choose from, and it should be a lovely day and a lot of fun. Eric Morris, Patrick Mahomes, Cam Ward, like that triangle is not just because they both played for Eric Morris. Like there are things about Cam Ward's game.
Stylistically.
Right. Like Louis Riddick, and the very little time that ESPN spent talking about Cam Ward before the number 1 overall pick was made was Louis Riddick making his official comp of Cam Ward to Patrick Mahomes. So I went back and pulled the NFL.com draft profile of both players. Lance Zierlein did both. And the overview on Ward is much longer than Mahomes because Mahomes wasn't supposed to be a number 1 pick. Mahomes was a guy, we didn't even know if he was going to go top 10, right? And he goes right there at 10. Which one do you want first, Ward or Mahomes?
I want you to not tell me.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm not going to tell you.
Yes.
Okay. So let's start here.
Give me the first graph on each.
Yeah. Gunslinger with good size, a big arm, and the mobility to help out his offensive line. Can read the full field and operate with average decision-making and processing quickness. Like a shortstop, he rips sidearm rockets that fit into tight windows on all three levels, but his delivery and mechanics cause inconsistencies with placement and accuracy. He is fairly consistent regardless of the coverage scheme he sees, but figuring out disguise coverage on the pro level will take time, and it is not a given that he will develop that skill.
That's Pat.
That's Cam.
Is it really?
That is about Cam Ward. He wraps it up at the end.
Issues with accuracy.
The rip sidearm rockets was when I was like, oh, that's Mahomes.
That's Pat. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the thing that because Cam Ward has a baseball background that we don't talk about as much as we did with Pat.
Or with A.J. Brown, for example, or Kyler Murray or any of these other guys.
Zerline wraps it up by saying pocket mobility helps him extend and make plays out of structure. Sounds like Pat. But the longer he's off schedule, the spottier his decision-making can get. With a patient plan and a nurturing offensive coordinator who can accentuate his physical tools while regulating the feast or famine elements of his play, Ward could become a good NFL starter inside of his first contract. For Mahomes, it's a much shorter blurb. He says, big, confident quarterback who brings a variety of physical tools to the party, but he's developed some bad habits and does not have a very repeatable process as a passer. Mahomes' ability to improvise and extend plays can lead to big plays for his offense, but he will have to prove that he can operate with better anticipation and be willing to take what the defense gives him in order to win from the pocket. Mahomes will be a work in progress, but he's a high-ceiling, low-floor prospect. I mean, I'm with you. I would have said the same thing. Slam dunk, Pat Mahomes. Just seeing that the ripping sidearm rockets that fit into tight windows on all three levels.
I've seen Cam do that because I just came off that film show with Callahan where we're breaking down sidearm throws and working throws around defenders. So it's not like I thought the thing that stood out to me there was the accuracy. I don't come away from Cam Ward's process or watching Cam Ward as a college player and say that his tendencies lead to an accuracy problem. And that's kind of the way that Zerline's profile painted it a little bit.
Yeah.
I would have said that Mahomes would probably have had more variance to his accuracy coming out of college than Cam did.
Yeah. I mean, there are just a lot of things that you can sort of tie up with Patrick Mahomes' draft eval. So I know people are so quick to scoff at those comps and say it's not fair. Like, those are not to say that Cam Ward is going to be Patrick Mahomes. It is that they undeniably have some overlap in some of their strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. That can be the case. Cam Ward can be 20% of what Patrick Mahomes is and be a very good NFL starting quarterback. Right? Like, how much of Pat Mahomes' game can Cam Ward emulate and still be a competent starter?
A competent starter, sure, but he's the number one overall player.
Sure. And that's a whole other...
I have a higher...
Well, that's a discussion in and of itself, right? Like, how high level of a starter does Ward have to be for you to say that was a good selection by the Titans at number one overall?
Yeah, no, I mean, because I had somebody, I think this was while you were gone, somebody asked me or somebody said they just wanted him to be Justin Herbert. And my whole thing with Herbert is, like, if Trevor Lawrence didn't exist, Justin Herbert would probably be one of the biggest underachievers of starting quarterbacks right now, relative to expectation. And he's also not a number one overall pick.
He's an interesting one because he does things that, you love. The production is there, but the winning isn't there at a high level. The winning when it matters most. It's a bit of a complicated discussion, the Justin Herbert situation.
So... all that to say, apparently the morning show did this as well.
Okay. I know they had done the blind, a lot of those, like, which prospect is which. Well, they would read the evals and have to guess which was which.
It's a good game. I wish we would have thought of it.
If we were good.
615-737-1045 is the number. The Kentucky Derby happened over the weekend, and I was very invested in this. I don't know if the other two were. Going to talk about the results. You got a little horse or rock band back there?
Yeah, I could figure something out.
Maybe a little horse or rock
Maybe
band.
I should say nay.
You don't want to bail him out of that one?
No, not that one.
That's how you know it's bad. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is such a valuable resource for guys who feel like they're out of luck or have lost hope and just kind of resign themselves to feeling tired or sluggish and not like yourself, just assuming it's part of the aging process. It doesn't have to be that way. Low energy and performance issues aren't inevitable, and solutions exist at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. The difference for them, no guesswork, no gimmicks, just real science and effective treatments. They want to make sure that you are being cautious around online fixes because generic online pills are overpriced and largely ineffective. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is going to come up with a personalized treatment plan for you. They have multiple urologists and providers that will tailor solutions specifically to your body and to your goals. Their services are comprehensive for guys, whether it's ED, testosterone, and other options that a lot of dudes don't even know exist. Call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or visit them online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com today. Welcome back to the show. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, a little tribute to the great Toby Keith, little Willie Nelson. Toby Keith, what was the name of Toby Keith's horse? It was running in the Derby this weekend. That was a part of the coverage from Louisville where sovereignty was able to pull off the victory over journalism. No irony there whatsoever, as many journalists, or many Big J journos were quick to make the joke on social media. Sovereignty beats out journalism, just like we all thought. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Dude, his horse has a badass name.
What's the horse's name?
Render Judgment.
Oh, God.
That's awesome.
Oh, my God. So my cousin's horse, Flying Mohawk, did not benefit from
You had a cousin horse?
my cousin's horse.
How does that work? Where does he blend into your family at?
I mean, in Kentucky, they have relations with
Woof.
stranger things, I suppose. But no, not my cousin horse. Not a sister wife, not a cousin horse.
That would be kind of cool, though. Think about the privileges that come with that.
What is the privilege of having a horse as a cousin?
You never need an Uber for many family events. You
I
could
feel
always
like
just
that's
hop on.
I would rather have an Uber than to drunk ride around on a horse.
I
walk back
could
with
not disagree with you more on that
Yeah,
one.
but you're somebody who scooters through tornadoes like nothing's wrong. I'm still mad at you and Blue about that.
You ever been horseback riding?
Yes.
Love horseback riding.
So you've got Sovereignty who pulls off the victory. Flying Mohawk finished 18th. Cousin's horse out of 19 potential horses there. So not a great day for him. Render Judgment 17th. So just a nose ahead of Flying Mohawk. And I had a little money on Luxor Cafe. I had a little money on Flying Mohawk. Do you guys bet the Derby?
Hell no. I was asleep all day that day.
I know. I was so hungover, too. Robert had me out at Red Door until 3 a.m. smoking cigarettes. Thank God they still have the place to smoke cigarettes.
Ooh, I don't
at
even
Red
know
Door.
what the hell kind of cigarettes those were either. I think he found those and gave them to us. But
No, those were Kirby's Pall Malls.
oh, I thought I tasted a little bit of home. See, okay, and I'm going to make a statement right now. The Derby outfits suck. Everybody dressing up. It's hot.
Oh, like the hats and
You
whatnot?
know it's hot as hell. They look
I don't
goofy.
know. Warren Moon looked awesome.
Okay,
He looked sick.
the dudes look cool. I'm over the hats. I'm
Oh.
over the big flauncy. What are we doing it for? Come on. Y'all going to wear that one time and then sell it back to somebody else so somebody can wear it to prom one year.
That's right.
What do we that's dumb.
When was this?
Aren't you trying to go to Steeplechase this weekend? What do you think Steeplechase is?
I'm getting drug to Steeplechase. I am not going to Steeplechase, and my girlfriend's mom is doing the same thing, talking about what kind of hats are we going to wear? What kind of this are we going to wear? I'd rather be in a basement chained up next to a heater than go to that thing.
One, Steeplechase is a great time. As somebody who's hosted the Zone Steeplechase tailgate for a handful of years at this point, I'm not this year because I've got a wedding and also rookie minicamp is that Saturday. So I'm flying back from Hilton Head this weekend to do rookie minicamp because I know you all are thirsty as hell for Cam Ward in a Titans uniform videos.
Speaking of that, how about Warren Moon doing interviews with Kay Adams? Now, she put it out there saying the Titans are getting new uniforms, Warren Moon breaking, but, the Titans did put out, the big release, a month and a half ago about the primary blue for 2025?
Well, that's not what he's talking about.
But he's saying that it's looking more and more like they're going to never wear the Oilers again.
No, that was the deal.
Right, which is what he kind of said to you guys.
Right. He
at the
already
press conference.
He said this at Cam Ward's introductory press conference. Kay Adams is, assuming that she hadn't been reading up on Titans beat writer tweets and things like that. She treated it as breaking news that the Titans were getting new uniforms. And that's all well and good. That's fine. Warren Moon described them as, keeping close to home, but also slightly futuristic. Like there wasn't any detail.
Which is, to me, kind of what the Titans blue is, right? Because it's a lot closer to the Oiler blue, that light blue.
It's not really.
On what they're wearing for their primary color in
Columbia
2025.
blue?
Yeah, I mean, the blue that they're going to wear for their home jerseys this year is a lot closer to the Oiler blue than, like, the Navy.
Yeah, but they're not treating it as a tribute to the Oiler blue. They're treating it as a tribute to, like, the early 2000s Titans uniforms.
Sure.
Like that blue.
Yeah, fair enough.
He also said with Kay Adams that he planned to be very much involved in Cam Ward and his career here. And I don't know if that's unique to Cam Ward or if I don't know what Warren Moon's relationship was like with Vince Young, right? I don't know what Warren Moon's relationship was like with the late Steve McNair. I don't know if he had a relationship with Mariota or with Tannehill, right? These things, tend to get a lot more attention when it's the number one overall pick, and Cam Ward is who he is, and everything, obviously, the connections between Warren Moon coming to this franchise 40 years ago, now Cam Ward, and everything that's involved with that. They're rolling out, and I think I sent you guys this article before you went on vacation about Nike rolling out like City Connect type of jerseys the way that they do in the NBA, but they're going to stagger them. So there's going to be some teams that have City Connect jerseys this year. The AFC South is going to get them in 2026 as one of, I think, either 2 divisions or 4 divisions in 2026 that we're going to get these new Nike uniforms. So this has apparently been all a part of the plan, and the Cam Ward, Oilers, Warren Moon, never wear the Oiler number 1 uniform again type of situation. I think that just happened to be circumstantial.
It has been cool, though, to see kind of the investment that to show up at the press conference, right, and give him the number. Obviously, Cam Ward reached out to Warren Moon, but like you said, we don't know what kind of contact he did have with previous Titans quarterback, but certainly nothing like this in the public eye.
No.
Right after he's drafted with the number 1 overall pick, and he's talking about what he said to Kay Adams was, I'm going to be a lot more involved than you think. I'll just put it that way in the development of Cam Ward.
It's very secretive.
What does that mean?
I
know. It's just interesting.
So those are the highlights of Derby weekend. Titans related, and not hoping Mike Tirico is okay, by the way.
What happened to Mike? I was swimming with sharks.
He had...
Is that a metaphor?
Not at all. What happened to Mike Tirico?
Actually?
Yeah, it was cool.
Why the hell didn't you lead with that? I'd rather talk about that than the damn Derby.
Like you were in a cage, or you were free?
No. Wait. Let's get this out of the way, then we talk about the Sharks. What was I going to say? I don't even remember.
Mike Tirico.
Oh, Mike Tirico. He had an incident yesterday on the broadcast because apparently he has a nut allergy.
Oh,
no. The nut allergy knocked him out of the broadcast. Mid-broadcast.
Protect him.
He is okay. He was doing an interview this morning.
Okay.
On network television.
Like he was being interviewed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He was on Today this morning and said he ate something with the nut in it. His throat started clogging up and swelling up, and he couldn't go on.
Okay.
Wow.
So, glad to hear that Mike Tirico.
Very glad to hear that. Hey, no joke.
All right, start talking about
the Sharks.
Get to the real
We
stuff.
did the Shark boy.
We're an hour and 50 minutes into the show, and he just brought up swimming with sharks.
I mean, it's nothing crazy. We just didn't excursion. We were at the resort all week, but
it's a shark.
Megan and I like to get out and do stuff, so we did an excursion where they took us out on a boat into the water where there was this big dock setup, like out in the water, where they had this big part of the water sectioned off with nets where they keep these 2, I think, nurse sharks. I'm not sure. Not like gnarly, bite your head off sharks, very friendly. Herbivore sharks. And I don't know, do we say that about sharks?
No, they're not herbivore.
That's a dinosaur. Is that strictly to dinosaurs?
No, herbivore just means you eat plants.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, these are vegetarian sharks.
No, they're not.
What?
That's what I've been told.
How
was
drunk
I wrong
were you?
about that? I don't know. They don't eat people. That's all I know.
Vegetarian sharks?
I think that exists. Vegetarian sharks.
This just makes me think of you guys have watched Silicon Valley, right? It's Ehrlich Bachman requesting pescatarian meals instead of vegetarian.
Okay, yeah. The bonnet head. It's they're omnivores, but they survive on a diet of up to 90% seagrass with small amounts of squid and other marine life.
So
anyway,
these are
10% is people's toes.
But yeah,
stick that pointer finger outside the cage, MFer.
The best part is they had these like propeller things that you could hold with both hands that have a propeller that can like pull you in the water, like James Bond type of
It's
stuff.
like they almost propel you.
So cool.
Propel you forward.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Yep. So we also were able to pet a stingray named Sammy. And we went snorkeling around the reef there, and it was really cool. And that's what I was doing when, was it Sovereignty was winning the Kentucky Derby, and Mike Tirico was had his throat closing up.
Because he had something with nuts in it.
Goodness.
That's tough.
Just the idea. So Steve Irwin got killed by a stingray, right?
Yes. And I couldn't help but think of him on Saturday.
Glad they didn't name him Steve.
I, of course, hope that nothing serious befalls you. But if you were to perish that way, I would probably laugh. If you died by stingray.
You would not laugh.
I would laugh.
I would take up a crusade against every stingray. Yes. That would be my life mission.
So instead of you going to the aquarium of the Pacific with me at Ron Slay's wedding and being a part of the touch tank with the stingrays.
Some would be getting touched. They would be getting touched all right.
Marciano says it would be on site for those stingrays.
You think you're going to take down my Pachuca? No way. No way.
Hey, Pachuca's coming to Nashville.
Yeah, that commercial playing in the middle of our show.
The Club World Cup at Geodis Park this summer. Can't wait.
Pretty funny.
So, speaking of Warren Moon, Robert just sent this in from Mike Sando of The Athletic. He said, once a team retires a jersey number, the team should take the lead in saying that number is not available. Don't put the retired player in the position of having to say yes or no.
Oh, I agree with that.
This is happening with the Giants, too.
Twice.
Yeah, Abdul Carter getting...
Because he wanted Phil Simms 11, right?
56 and then 11.
Giants, very self-important organization, though. Like, Giants fans are probably pissed at the idea that he would even ask LT or Phil Simms. Whereas Titans fans, you know.
It's a different situation, though, isn't it? Like, it is.
It's one franchise that is a championships franchise that has been around for a considerable period of time in its history. They don't have multiple eras of Giants football, right? It's just the New York football Giants.
Like, the branding, it's totally different.
They are infinitely more self-important than the Tennessee Titans are.
But even besides that, like, it's such a unique thing. It's not unique for NFL teams to change cities, but the Oilers to Titans situation
unique
is pretty standalone in the NFL. So it's like there's an asterisk where, but like this is the Titans era. There's never been, the number one isn't retired for the Titans era, even though it's the same franchise. I'm of the mind, if Warren Moon is cool with it, then who are we to say? But I could also understand.
He wasn't for a considerable period of time. He said about a day and a half before the whole introduction thing was when he decided. So he was clearly conflicted about it.
Yeah, but I get where Sando is coming from.
Yes, I agree with him. Don't put the onus on the players. When you, the organization, retire their number, be like, all right, if he says you can, we'll let you. No. Make that decision yourself. If it's your decision to retire the jersey, then it should be your decision that the organization has to be the entity that the player requesting the retired number should have to go through, as opposed to, hey, can I get Warren Moon's number? But let me look him up on YouTube first to make sure he's legit, which is still one of the funnier lines from that press conference. 615, Baltimore and the Colts.
Yeah, but they remained the Colts. And I know the Baltimore has the Ravens now.
What about the Browns and the Ravens? Browns and Ravens get into any of this at all?
No. What? Okay, so because
the Browns left, became the Ravens, then they started the Browns franchise again.
They kind of cut it off. Like, some people may be like, they won a world championship and so-and-so. But, like, mostly the Ravens' history started in 96, 97, whenever the year was.
So that's probably the most comparable, is the Ravens and the Browns for the Titans and the Oilers. Anyway. Coming up next, Sharon Moore gets suspended by the University of Michigan for Connor Stalions-related impropriety. But there's some details on this that make it unique. We'll talk about it coming up next.
It is 12:01. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. In college football news today, Michigan head coach Sharon Moore is expected to be banned for 2 games in the 2025 season as part of a self-imposed sanction by the university for the Connor Stallion sign-stealing scandal. That's according to ESPN. The suspension, though, is for weeks 3 and 4 against Central Michigan and Nebraska. NBA playoffs tonight. Conference semifinals getting underway in the East. The Knicks are at the Celtics. That's at 6 p.m. And the Thunder host the Nuggets at 8:30. In the NHL, the Panthers and Maple Leafs drop the puck on their second-round series in the East at 7 p.m. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome back to the show here on this Monday. Thanks for stopping by. If you're just now hanging out, we were talking there about the Derby, and then we got into Cam Ward stuff because Warren Moon was at the Derby. And, of course, the whole saga of the retired number one for the Houston Oilers / Tennessee Titans franchise, now gifted to Cam Ward to be able to wear. You read that Mike Sando tweet earlier about once a team retires a jersey number, the team should take the lead in saying that the number is not available. Don't put the retired player in the position of having to say yes or no. That was Mike Sando an hour ago. Trevor Sikkema, about 5 minutes ago, picked up this tweet. He says, if a jersey is retired, it's retired. That's it. Completely ridiculous what teams are letting happen with those numbers for the sake of social media posts and videos. Legends shouldn't be put in the position to unretire it, and to be honest, no incoming rookie should feel like they can ask for it. Trevor Sikkema.
Feels like a shot.
Jersey hardline. Oh, for sure.
Titans, we've seen the Abdul Carter requests, but Titans are the only one where that has happened, right?
Where a legend has unretired
this year.
Number. To my knowledge, yes.
Like of this draft class.
I believe so, but Abdul Carter is the one who is most, he's just trying to find a number to wear, it seems. But I kind of feel like I'm on Team Trev there. I don't love it.
I do. I think I agree with you. But it was also a really cool moment.
It was a really cool moment, and to be able to witness that in person was awesome. And it's not just about the Titans, because the Jags did something like this too recently. Not with the number one retirement, but doing something for the sake of social media clout, which you tend to turn your nose up at. You saw, the Jennifer Hudson show, right? The talk show.
Does she have a talk show?
She does have a talk show. You've definitely seen the entrances for the guests of the Jennifer Hudson show.
Yeah, like the dancing down the hallway. You may not have seen the show,
but you've seen the dancing down the hallway thing. So the Jags did this. The Jags organization did this for Travis Hunter. Like, they had staffers lined up on either side of a hallway. And they were singing and dancing, and Travis Hunter
Oh, that ain't the same as retiring a number.
No. But I'm saying, like, it makes me think of what the Titans did for Rand Carthon.
Okay. Which the Bears also did for Ben Johnson.
Which was also equally stupid. Stop doing stuff like this on social media. Stop it. Just stop it, because you fired Rand Carthon 2 years out. Slay on stage making jokes about Rand Carthon. Not about Rand Carthon, but this is what happens when you book Ron Slay to do your intros, okay? You don't get to script him, nor would I try. But all I know is that Slay costs me a bottle of Tito's, and that's it. It just has to be room temperature, because he doesn't like his vodka cold, because he's a freak that way. But what happens after you give him the bottle of Tito's, who's to say? Now, I don't think he got into the bottle of Tito's before we sent him out on stage to do the intros at the install. But this man gets up there and he goes, among other things, as he's starting the hype and is in the cities playing and all these different things, right? The typical Ron Slay production. He just stops cold in his track. He goes, Rand Carthon. He was here last year. He's not here anymore. Callahan walking in the door as He's talking about Titans PR just grabbing me by the arm and like, what is going on? I don't know. I'm just here to do my part, man.
Hope it's not the kiss of death.
Yeah, we'll find out. Otherwise, I'm going to have a real hard time booking special guests for the live podcast if this one gets fired. But Callahan, by the way, was great. You guys will get the opportunity to watch that full live taping of the show from Friday. I'm not sure exactly when they're going to be able to put the video component of it together, but I'm going to be on their ass about putting the podcast up tomorrow. So.
Speaking of potential turnover, just a heads up, Barry Trotz is having his end-of-year press conference coming up at 12:15. We'll keep an eye on it.
Fire somebody.
Keep an eye on it.
They have to fire somebody.
I think it seems like at this point, if Barry Trotz is to step up there and say Andrew Burnett is fired, it would be a surprise at this point. There's been nothing indicating that will be the case, but we'll see.
How the hell are they going to run that back?
We'll keep an eye on it. Also, the Bills.
Is there something did the hockey team do something good that I'm not aware of last year? That everybody should just get to keep their jobs and all right, boys, we'll see you.
Maybe
next October.
An Alex Doherty segment in our future tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get Alex on because if nobody is getting fired for this, I would like to know why. I don't pretend to be the foremost hockey expert or anything like that. Nor is this a hockey-centric show by any stretch of the imagination. But I don't know how you could be a bottom three team in hockey after putting together what people thought was going to be a Stanley Cup contending roster, and everybody just gets to chill after that.
Also, the Bills are signing Elijah Moore.
He was out there for a visit, yeah.
Yeah, so there's Brandon Beane's response to the radio hosts in Buffalo slamming the Bills for not drafting a receiver.
Oh, you saw that too, did you, while you were on?
Yeah, we were watching all that in here on Monday.
I haven't seen you since Christmas. It's like Buck this morning being like, when do we get a new awning? And we've had a new awning outside for 3 months. Like, time inside this little snow globe after the Super Bowl is so compact, you never know when the hell. When did that happen? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, no.
Who knows?
My outside of football season life is time is a flat circle. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what month it is. Just keep it moving. Give me the football season. Speaking of football season, Sharon Moore, the head coach of Michigan, is going to be suspended for games 3 and 4 of Michigan's upcoming season. We cannot figure out why he's not going to be suspended for their first 2 games of the season, but this is in relation to his involvement in the Connor Stallions advanced scouting / spying scandal from, 2023, 2024, 2023.
Yep.
Going back to 2023.
National championship season.
Right. So Jim Harbaugh leaves. Sharon Moore takes over. No punishments for Sharon Moore's Michigan team last year, other than that they were very bad and without the caliber of football players that left them through the draft and through the transfer portal. Sharon Moore was able to put together a passable season. It wasn't a good season by any stretch of the imagination, unless you just count beating Ohio State as being a good Michigan season, any Michigan season, especially when Ohio State goes on to win the national championship. But it definitely fell short of what their standard is coming off a national championship run. Sharon Moore is going to be suspended for those games, 3 and 4 in the middle of that, and that's just an in-house suspension. The NCAA could bring down additional penalties on the Michigan program. There are scholarship and portal-related penalties that are expected to result from this as well, though those things have not yet been officially announced.
Yeah, and the NCAA, we mentioned off the top of the show that Jim Harbaugh, during his suspension, was able to be at practice and really present at all team-related activities with the exception of game day. And the NCAA promptly changed that rule in January 2024 that during a suspension, the coach has to be suspended for all athletics activities, not just the games themselves. So there will be a committee on infractions hearing, a COI hearing on the Stallions case held June 6th and 7th in almost exactly a month. SI first reported the dates earlier today. There's no guarantee that the Committee on Infractions will accept the self-imposed punishment for Sharon Moore as the full extent of the punishment. They could levy additional games to the suspension. This is from ESPN. If they do stop at 2 games, there is no certainty that they would allow the specific games Michigan is offering. So they could very well say, okay, you get your 2 games, but you don't get to pick and choose what games you are suspended for. Sharon Moore, Oklahoma alum, who seems like he wants to coach against his alma mater. You don't get to just sit around and say, no, I want, can you imagine if you did them separately? I want weeks 2 and 11.
That would be great.
I want to be out against CMU and Ferris State or whatever the other bye game is on Michigan's schedule. I've never seen that before. Never.
No,
You've seen self-imposed penalties. I've never seen.
Not specific games that you've cherry-picked. Disrespectful to Nebraska. That's going to.
Yeah.
I know.
It is at Nebraska. It'll be a raucous environment over there.
Compton and Lawan are pissed. I think they have some money on that game.
Oh, that is the Bussin' Bowl.
Will Compton lost $1,000 because Shedeur Sanders got drafted in the 5th round. He bet I was talking to Will and Taylor the other day. Apparently, Will bet Delaney, or Delaney bet Will, that Shedeur would not be drafted until the 5th round. So Delaney Walker better at the pre-draft prognostication than anybody with a microphone or a television camera in front of their face. Cost Will a grand. Tough scene.
It's funny. I think most people just assumed that the Connor Stallion scandal was over and done with. Yes. Jim Harbaugh gone. A lot of the coaches that were on that staff
but these
are
things
gone.
Always take a year.
I wonder, what does Sharon Moore have to do at Michigan in order to be considered a successful successor to Jim Harbaugh?
Oh, I mean, he's got to have him in the playoff at least, right?
Because he's got the Ohio State wins.
I mean, he's got to have them back in the playoff.
For sure. And if this situation, and he's got the quarterback, he's got Bryce Underwood, and there's a lot of questions about exactly how much NIL is Bryce Underwood getting. Is Michigan hiding NIL funds and all of these things?
That would be fun.
Well, and all these things are totally unregulated.
Money laundering in college? Yeah, of course we are.
Basically,
I mean, speculation by me.
It's just all, and as we mentioned, Michigan's president is bailing. He's going down to Florida to take the same job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Protecting me there.
It just, I don't know. It just seems weird up there. It just seems kind of messy what's going on right now in Michigan.
Who is threatening Ohio State in the Big Ten?
Penn State.
That's it. Nothing from USC. Lincoln Riley.
Look, Michigan is
buried and gone.
With the recent history.
We don't even think about him.
I wouldn't say we don't think about him, but right now it seems to be. I would say it's Ohio State and Penn State. But with the recent history, obviously, of the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, I'm not going to sit here and say that Michigan isn't something that Ohio State is thinking about all offseason. So, I'd say Michigan, but on a more macro level in terms of the Big Ten championship, I'd say Penn State. Yeah, Penn State. I mean, hell, Penn State I could look it up right now. Who do you think is the favorite in the Big Ten?
Ohio State. What do you mean? Why would Ohio State not be favored in the Big Ten?
Tons of turnover, new quarterback competition happening right now.
Yeah, but they'd still be favored.
Let's
just
see.
won the national championship.
What are your bets here? So what do you think, Lucas? I've got it pulled up if you don't already have it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Shit, there's no way in hell James Franklin is favored before the season starts to win the Big Ten.
I'd say Penn State, bringing back Drew Aller, adding to that receiver room, just bringing back more and improving on both sides of the ball from a coordinator standpoint, including taking away Jim Knowles from Ohio State.
What is it?
Ohio State plus 210, Penn State plus 250, Oregon plus 270.
Okay. Oregon.
So very tight.
How far down is USC?
USC is lumped in with Nebraska, Indiana, Illinois at plus 850.
How much longer are they going to let him linger?
Oh, no. Michigan is at 4th with 850. The teams that I glommed together are all plus 3,500.
Okay. Indiana that far down, really? I mean, I guess to win the Big Ten, for sure. The Lincoln Riley thing at USC, like what? At what point are they going to do anything? Anything that they promised that they were going to do? Anything that even remotely resembles contending for a national championship?
Yeah, they just need to fire him and let him come back to East Carolina.
I forgot he was in East Carolina.
The youngest offensive coordinator in college history.
But he wasn't the head coach there, right?
No, he was the OC.
And that made sense because Stoops was retiring at a certain point in time, and that made sense for Lincoln Riley to go over to Oklahoma. Okay.
But if Michigan is not in that conversation to win the Big Ten, the way Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon will be, and they don't keep that crazy voodoo going in the Ohio State rivalry, and Sharon Moore, this kind of turns into a little bit more, then, yeah, heat is on Sharon Moore up there, no matter who they have at quarterback.
615-737-1045 is the number. Here's the question I'm going to ask you, and you can call in and give me your answer, okay? Cam Ward's going to be a rookie this year. What mistakes are you okay with Cam Ward making Be as broad or as specific as you want it to be. 615-737-1045. We'll talk about it coming up next.
Hey guys, it's Lucas. I got to tell you about my favorite new spot in Nashville. It is Fog Street Lawn Club. It is Nashville's premier soccer pub. You know I love that. Your go-to spot to watch Nashville SC. It's also open early for Premier League action. Watch the sunrise on the most picturesque rooftop view in Nashville. You got to go to find out, eat some brunch. But really, no matter the sport, Fog Street makes sure you won't miss a moment. NHL, NBA playoffs really heating up right now. Go check it out. Tons of space, tons of TVs. And again, that rooftop is can't miss. You'll also never get bored. Can spend the whole day there. Play British-style lawn bowling or cornhole for free on the rooftop. Go next door. Challenge your friends to some axe throwing at Bad Axe. Fog Street Lawn Club gives you the experience of downtown Nashville with a great escape from the craziness of Broadway. Family-friendly, great for all sports fans. You can even host special events like birthday parties or corporate events, and their menu of British pub-style food is fantastic. Check out Happy Hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m., and I will see you at Fog Street Lawn Club located on Fog Street.
Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. No real close second. Just Hattie B's up there at the top. King of the hot chicken mountain. Download the Hattie B's app. If you're hanging out at the office, you can get it delivered there. If you're hanging out at home, you can get it straight to the crib. If you have not used the Hattie B's app before, they'll give you a free dessert. You can even earn bonus points, Lucas. Bonus points in your Hattie B's app.
All you got to do is download it.
There you go. 615-737-1045 is the number. What mistakes are you okay with Cam Ward making in year one? So, there's nothing definitive about him being the starting quarterback in week one. Chad Brinker came in studio last week while you were gone and pushed that off as much as he could. Talked about how they're going to make him earn it. Yes. And that's fine. I appreciate that mindset, that mentality. I'm certain that Cam Ward, he's had to earn everything in his career to this point, but he doesn't strike me as somebody who just wants things given to him, right? He strikes me as somebody who wants to take something from someone and say, I took this from you because I'm better than you, and I'm going to be better at this, and I'm going to show you all the ways that I'm going to be better at this, and you were stupid for even thinking that somebody else could do it. That's how that individual strikes me, just based off what we've seen and what we've heard. We'll look forward to getting to know Cam Ward a little bit more this weekend at rookie minicamp, which I know all of you are salivating over. But there will be mistakes made along the way. There will be road speed bumps and difficulty and adversity and injury and all manner of other things that pop up in Cam Ward's career. The question is, of the things that are controllable, which mistakes are you okay with him making in his rookie year, assuming that he is going to be the starting quarterback for, if not the entire season, the vast majority of the season? I had to go back. What's the worst mistake that Will Levis made, other than existing?
Existing? What are you?
You who hate him. I don't. Those are your words, not mine.
Other than existing. Come on.
There are plenty of people.
There are people too, Buck.
Oh, you're telling me that? You who flip-flop between, I hate this guy, I don't want him to. I'll write you an apology poem, Mr. Quarterback. Please don't hate me. Go Cats.
Hey. Oh,
please.
Stop. That never happened.
Might as well have.
So you mean on the field, though? Like, we wouldn't be talking about the Mayo endorsement. We wouldn't be talking about...
Well, no, but that matters because the first thing that I saw, because I feel like a lot of people treated the mayonnaise commercial very lightly at the start, and I remember being the curmudgeon, grouchy old media guy being like, yeah, but what has he done to earn a nationally televised advertisement campaign that's going to run 6 weeks after he gets benched?
For me, the worst game of the Will Levis experience last season was the Cincinnati game. It was not the throwaway interception pick six in Chicago. It was not the flip fumble to Tajay Spears in week 2 against the Jets. It was Cincinnati in, what was that, week 14, 15, then it was way 15, later in the season, 15. Week 15 against Cincinnati. That meltdown to me was the worst moment of the season. End. Yes, because
people have forgotten about that. That was a bad one.
That's what got him benched for Mason Rudolph was that game. And really, it was that 2-week stretch of that game and the Jaguars game, the one at home, 10-6, the final, I believe, where there were many moments in the red zone that were not capitalized on by the quarterback. That was the most damning thing about the Levis experience because you had the nuclear moments early on. He settled into the season a little bit for what, like a 4-week stretch, about a month?
I would say so what was his first game back after the injury? Was that the Chargers? I think it was Chargers. They lost to the Chargers, the Vikings. They didn't win any of these games.
No, they won the Houston game. He led them to the Houston win.
Chargers, Vikings, then he won Houston.
Right, like he overcame the pick six.
He threw a pick six, but he didn't play. That was by far and away, that was not by any stretch of the imagination his worst game.
Yeah, but he played well against Minnesota. He had some really good moments against the Chargers. And then another almost worse, more severe meltdown happened after that. If there's anything I want out of Cam Ward's mistakes, his worst mistakes, I want them early. I want them in the first month of the season. I want to see the best version of rookie Cam Ward in week 15 rather than week 3. I want to see a progression throughout the course of the season?
I simply do not want to see him make the same mistakes twice. Because I will disagree with you in that Cincinnati was not his worst moment to me, talking about Levis specifically. He made the mistake in Chicago in week 1, and they directly lost the game because he directly gave away the game with that pick 6. The thing that made Brian Callahan one of the most even-keeled demeanor coaches I've ever been around, one of the most mild-mannered coaches I've ever been around, lose his ever-loving mind and scream, "What the F are you doing?" at his quarterback was when he did it again. Almost the same exact motion. Not quite the same situation, but damn near the same exact motion on the flip back that he was trying to execute to Tajay. Because that's not, it's like, Patrick Ewing when he was the Georgetown coach, and I can't remember who the player was, but he took some just back-asswards crazy shot, and Patrick Ewing brings him over to the bench afterwards and say, "You don't practice that. Who taught you how to take that shot? Who coached you on how to take that shot? That's not a shot that you take. You're not that guy." That back-to-back error of him doing the exact same thing after I came out of Chicago, I'm pretty sure I opened up the microphone the Monday after the Bears game and said, "I'm pretty confident that's the worst mistake I'll ever see that quarterback make in his life." And then he just did it the next week.
Well, that's what we said. We said that has to be rock bottom this season.
The worst play you've ever seen him make in his career, and he did it again the very next week. That, to me, was where, and because he started talking about rewiring his brain after the Jets game. No, that week 2 was Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2 was Jets. So after the Jets game, he starts talking about that.
Yeah, home opener.
And then, you know, they're not even on the same field as Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers in that game. They get run roughshod over in week 3, and Will Levis continues to make turnovers and situationally aware or poor situational awareness decisions, but it's the repeat offense of that specific play in week 2 that let me know, I think we're done here. We may well be done here. Because then he started talking about the things that he was talking about after the fact. And I'm like, I don't know how the hell are you going to rewire your brain in the season, bud? Explain that to me without like specific meetings with a sports psychologist that's going to unwind whatever the hell is wound all the way up in that noggin of yours. I just need to see him as Cam Ward. I'm fine with him making mistakes. He's going to make a play. He's probably going to make a play that looks like that. To be honest with you. When you watch some of him in college, I'm not saying that they're the same player or anything like that, but he'll definitely make a play that puts the ball in harm's way.
But They both love the middle of the field, where Dak is like, "Oh, yeah, I can fit this in here," and Dak gets picked off. You see a lot of that out of Cam.
Yeah. So, because there's no throw that he doesn't think he can make, and that's fine. I want him to be more judicious. That'll be a learning curve. He'll throw some interceptions that will look terrible because he'll think that he can get that ball there and not be as aware that a defensive back in the NFL is going to close a hell of a lot faster than the defensive back at Cal did or something like that. So I just don't want to see repeat errors. I want to see him learn and grow from those mistakes. And if he makes those mistakes consecutively, let them be in training camp and practice.
Because we didn't really get to see that with Pat Mahomes, right? Like that play style. What are we going to call it? Like that almost Harlem Globetrotter
frenetic
like play style, right? Where you have to really rein it in and harness it the way Andy Reid and the Chiefs have so spectacularly with Mahomes. We didn't even get a chance to see those or that type of play lead to nuclear decision making and mistakes because he didn't play his rookie year. He had a year to iron so much out, and then he wins MVP in his first year as a starter. Cam Ward, as we've talked about, isn't going to get that luxury. So I'll be very curious to see how Brian Callahan walks that tightrope of harnessing those things that make Cam Ward so fun and so dynamic while not letting it plague you and hurt the team. Because those crazy things Will Levis did, those should be things that can be coached out of a quarterback, right? Which is why the Week 15 performance was more concerning to me that you can't see the field whatsoever in Week 15 of year 2 as an NFL quarterback versus a crazy mistake in Week 1 and 2, as bad as they were.
That there were still people making excuses for him, like, well, it's really still his rookie season. He's going to be 26.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
No.
Shut up. Like, it's just... It's completely nonsensical other than you hoping and praying and wishing that, maybe just with one more game, maybe he'll have the breakthrough. And then the breakthrough never comes, and his ass gets sent to the bench, and it's Mason Rudolph and him splitting reps in Week 18 because they don't know what the hell to do. They're just trying to get this stuff over with as fast as humanly possible.
But it's just going to be such an interesting case study for the sidearm throwing, outside of structure playmaking quarterback Cam Ward to see how early and often those mistakes come and how he's able to grow out of them and harness that skill set into something that's positive the way Mahomes was able to do, but had the luxury of doing it under the radar. Like, what I would give to hear, and maybe I'd love to hear Mike Borgonzi talk about this. Like, what were some of the worst mistakes you saw Pat Mahomes make as a rookie in practice, in training camp? I'd be fascinated.
It's a good question. I don't know where Mike would have been at that point in his career, whether he could have been on the road. I don't remember where exactly the timeline lines up as far as Mahomes getting drafted and where Mike Borgonzi would be in that front office in his rookie season. But it's a good idea by you.
There had to be some moments, right, in camp where you're just like, hey, dude, no. Like, you can't do that. But that's also part of what makes him great. So there had to be moments in camp where they had to walk that line. And those moments are going to have a spotlight on them in Tennessee for Cam Ward in a worse situation.
Well, they have a local spotlight on them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to be doing it in games, not in practice.
And that's kind of the mistake I would like Tim to avoid is to think that you have to have. You remember the Falcons game, the reaction
Levis.
from Jeff on the sideline?
That's Will Damn Levis.
We got a quarterback. I don't want him to think that he had. Okay, so they unretire a number for you. They roll out the red carpet. You're the first number 1 overall pick by this team since Nam. Don't feel like you have to come in here and have a Will Levis Atlanta Falcons game where you win everybody over. Oh, there it is. Cam did it. He did it. He threw 3 touchdowns, no picks. They won the game. Hell yeah. You don't have to do that early on to win this whole team over. You don't have to go out there and be a gunslinger for the sake of being a gunslinger if it's not in the game script. You know what I mean? The first couple months of the season, I just want him to be Cam. Just learn. I'm okay with you making any mistake because you've never played at this level before. But don't go out there and feel like you have to feel all of these people's shoes this early.
That's why I hate the McNair stuff. I hate it.
It just seems a little like, again, it's their stuff. They can do whatever they want to with it. But it just seems a little premature. And throughout the NFL, whenever we've allowed someone else to wear a retired number, like Peyton Manning wearing 18 in Denver, them unretiring it for him, or Jerry Rice wearing Steve Largent's 80, like those were established players who had Hall of Fame resumes, who were coming into an existing franchise, who were like, you know what? We haven't had someone that's this good. We're willing to bend the knee for you. It just feels a little premature. And I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he proves everybody wrong. But it seems a little tough to just stick your toe out and be like, hey, don't close this in the door.
I thought Callahan was really good about this on Friday night, talking about him within the context of, and it wasn't Joe Burrow that he brought up, and this is going to be in the live pod that we taped on Friday. 250 of you all have already heard it. If you were able to attend in person with Brian Callahan and Greg Cosell, breaking down Cam Ward tape and some other rookie highlights. But he ran Cam Ward through the prism of Matt Stafford. Again, were you too drunk to remember this, or do you recall this? Oh, no. Did he tell you what happened to him? He's been seeking more clout since the tremendous success of his zoo video. And so you want to tell Lucas what the bet was and what you were prepared to execute and what ended up happening to you while we did the live show.
If we sold out, I was going to wear a muumuu to the install, but I'm not just going to.
Not a muumuu. He owns a muumuu that he wears.
It's very comfy. It has pockets. So I don't have to walk around naked.
Floral decoration. It looks like a nightgown at a hospital.
Before you go on, what in the world is a muumuu?
It's just basically like maternity clothes. It's just like a big flowy thing that
my belly needs space.
Yes.
It's like, when Ebenezer Scrooge gets out of bed to take a pee in the middle of the night, what's he wearing with a little pajama hat?
Okay.
That's what I'm wearing.
Except his is designed for a man and yours is designed for a very pregnant woman.
Be that as it may.
Where did you get it?
Walmart. We can go get one today if you want. They're very comfy.
Nothing has ever looked more Walmart than that muumuu.
All right. Well, I was going to wear the muumuu to the event because it was a sellout. I did my job, or I helped. Like if you guys sell it out, I'll wear the muumuu. Well, I was going to wear the muumuu and a bonnet and a scarf and some glasses, and I was going to sneak to the front of the line and ask Brian Callahan a question. Similar to like I did last year with the mustache. But my segment was cut. So there I was, standing in the hallway with Titans PR, dressed like a woman.
Waiting in the hallway.
Just chit-chatting.
Yeah.
Telling Dwight inappropriate jokes. Sweet Dwight Spradlin, who's done
I thought you were going to tell. I'm sorry.
You were dressed in a muumuu when you were
Dwight,
telling
I'm
that?
sorry. I know that you can hear me. I'm so
man.
sorry. I did not put him up to that.
Fantastic.
I apologize.
But I will be wearing the muumuu tonight on primetime to pay off the muumuu debt. Sometimes it's showbiz, baby.
That's
Sometimes your
showbiz.
segment gets cut.
It gets cut
Sometimes-
for air.
You know what I mean? There's
happens.
plenty of people.
It killed in dress, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't translate, and it gets cut for time.
So I will wear the muumuu tonight on primetime to fulfill my obligation to the people.
So he missed half of the live podcast because he's standing in the hallway in his muumuu waiting for his name to be called. And
Phenomenal.
Nobody ever gets to it.
Standing in the hallway, waiting. Like, they got to be. I look out, I crack the door again after waiting like 15 minutes.
He's already off stage.
He's already off stage. He's
Somebody
gone.
could
No one's
see
there.
you in a muumuu just peeking through a door.
Landon
Sensational.
was there very upset with me.
Oh.
Yes, he was perturbed by your cross-dressing situation.
He said that I was scaring people and told me to go change.
Oh, by the way.
So anyway, what the point was, Callahan made a good comparison to Matt Stafford and his time working with Matt Stafford, because Stafford is also one of these quarterbacks that will make just bat bleep crazy arm angle throws. And a lot of times he'll tell you, yeah, I thought I could make it and I didn't. And you just have to tell him, yeah, okay, well, here's what you might have seen that may help you next time. But otherwise, like, you just kind of let those dudes go.
Yeah.
Is Callahan's larger point.
Barry Trotz isn't letting anybody go. He has been speaking for about 20 minutes now, and as expected, there will not be a firing of head coach Andrew Burnett. Lauren Walsh tweeting a few highlights from the presser. Quote, unfortunately, the season did not live up to our expectations. Quote, the path has changed. The plan has not. So maybe we'll dive a little more into the Preds GM's comments tomorrow.
Can we ask for Barry Trotz? I'd rather ask
Sure.
Barry Trotz why the hell anybody getting fired.
He's never been afraid of an interview.
No, he's a very honest and open interview, which is why I appreciate. I would love to talk to Barry Trotz at some point if we could do that. That would be swell.
Did you catch any of the NHL playoff action last night? Unbelievable game.
No, I was watching Righteous Gemstones.
I got some at the airport. I mean, the Jets' comeback was unreal. Double overtime win over the Blues in Game 7. Excellent.
Also, the Warriors sending the Rockets home.
Yeah.
Which was the Warriors. I know it's not like the Kevin Durant, Steph Curry peak Warriors, Klay Thompson or anything like that, but they are still a very, very threatening team. Steph Curry doing this at age 37 is crazy to me. It's not, I guess, as crazy as LeBron being 40 and doing what LeBron does. Lakers eliminated in the first round, by the way. We didn't really show.
Dalton Connect didn't get enough playing time. He would have rescued him.
Yes, their exciting whites did not pull through for them.
Maybe too many exciting whites in the NBA. Not necessarily a successful formula. Anyway, last call for phone calls if you got them. 615-737-1045. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the greatest hot chicken anywhere in the world. Last call for phone calls if you got them, 615-737-1045. Lucas just told me something during the commercial break that made my jaw drop. Because if this ever happened to me in a press conference that I was covering, I would be tempted to get up and walk out. What the hell is Barry Trotz doing?
Yeah, we've been monitoring the Preds GM's press conference. He's been speaking for about 28 minutes now, and not one question has been asked. Yeah, no. So the opening statement has covered a lot of ground. Again, they're bringing back Andrew Burnett. He's confirmed that. As of now, the coaching staff is returning. There could be some fluid situations with the assistants, but it's quite the opening filibuster by Barry Trotz. I mean, hey, he's covering a lot of ground. He's covering the things that people would have been asking anyway, I guess.
Barry missed his calling. He should be doing this, sports talk radio, if he can talk.
Sure.
What did Layman tweet that it's Cory Booker levels? Cory
Booker level filibuster.
24 hours or 25 hours on the House floor or something ridiculous.
Trotz saying, quote, calling Andrew Burnett a, quote, good young coach who had a tough situation this year. Just like a good young player, you stick with him. So expressing confidence and belief in Andrew Burnett.
Can't believe that's the shortest quote they could possibly give it. 28 minutes, and that's all the quote was?
That's disgusting.
I'm sure there's plenty more where that came from.
Is there anything that y'all could filibuster about for 30 minutes?
I do it every day on prime time.
Yeah, but it's us talking. Like what?
No, prime time. Prime time, I'm just yammering on about this godforsaken football team.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody listens. But like if it was going to be a non-sports topic, what would you guys feel like you could filibuster on? I could talk about Pokemon for hours.
Non-sports.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Food.
You could do food.
I don't have 28 minutes on food. Maybe restaurants.
I could just whip around. I could just whip around to like the best, just food experiences.
Oh, see, the thing that I do when my friends are in town that they hate, but I do it anyway, is anytime we're driving around Nashville, I'll like point out things like, oh, Amazon's doing this and there. So I could give guided tours. I could give a guided tour of the city.
Oh
of
my
Nashville
God, what a terrible tour that would be.
Nobody's signing up for that tour.
Nobody at all.
And if you look to your left here, you'll see Amazon's newest warehouse, built in 2016. Employs 3 things.
It was like last time my buddies came in town was like 4 years ago.
I got so excited to show them the new the new block that Amazon bought, right, with the Shurion and the Pinnacle and all that kind of stuff. I was hype about it.
Vidal in the F&M Bank chat says he could filibuster about how the Titans wronged Mariota. Dixie says the Roman Empire. I have a lot of friends that could go on for 27 plus minutes about the Roman Empire.
I don't think that's the reference. I think that's a Taylor Swift joke that you missed.
The Roman Empire?
Mm-hmm. What's your Roman Empire?
Oh, well, I know the joke, but that is a joke because of the obsession that 25 to 50-year-old men have with the Roman Empire.
Fair enough. Last call for phone calls. Philly Mike up next. What's happening, Mike?
All right, guys. Hey, I had a great time on Friday, and congratulations, Buck. You and the entire station did a fantastic job with the install. Got a chance to talk with Greg before the event. And as usual, guys did a fantastic job, man. And I got a chance to talk to a lot of Titans fans standing in line and also inside to spread some Eagles success to you guys, man. And I told them it's going to happen, man. The Titans will win the Super Bowl, and it will be coming up soon. So just hold on tight. Let this young quarterback and young coach get it together. But I had a good time, man. So one last thing. I think the Cleveland Browns, you guys were talking about franchises moving around.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when the big dog was the head of the Browns fan club there in the Dogtown, they kept the colors of the team, but told Modell to take the team, but they still had the colors. And I think the Houston fans did not do that when Bud Adams wanted to move. So just want to get that point across. But again, great job, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for coming, Mike. We appreciate it. And thanks for the call.
God, they told him to keep them colors because, golly.
The Browns?
God, it's got to be the worst color scheme in the NFL. Like,
it's by a mile. I mean, it's just nothing makes you think of bad football other than that damn helmet. That orange-brown helmet. But anyway, polls?
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. What is the funniest nickname for a professional athlete you've ever heard? Ashley says Titans legend Bobby Trees. Bobby Trees is
Bobby Trees a good one.
It's a good one. Daniel says Billy Jeans for Levis is amazing. He also brings up beans for Roger McCreary, who famously would eat baked beans before games. Beans, also just Billy Jeans mashed together.
Yo, that was supposed to be Levis's, right? Billy Jeans?
Yeah.
Serious PTSD associated with that one. Nobody calls McCreary beans, though.
I know.
Karen, that just makes me think of what's the Even Stevens?
Beans.
Yeah, there was so children are cruel, especially high school children. There was a girl in my high school graduating class that people called beans.
Oh, that's horrible.
What she do fart a lot? What was the deal with that?
She looked like beans.
Okay.
From Even Stevens. It was very cruel.
Karen says Mike Honcho for Jordan Beck, the former Tennessee baseball player, now playing for the Rockies.
Shootout, by the way, Beans did. Tough scene.
Which city did the best job hosting the NFL draft? Unsurprisingly, over 95% of the audience saying Nashville over Detroit, Kansas City, and Green Bay.
I thought Detroit crushed it, but Nashville did good too.
What is the best bit of PR advice that you would have for Bill Belichick? I like this from Randy. Blink twice if you need help.
Leave her. Leave her. Get out now, Bill. Get out now.
How do you feel about Cam Ward comparisons to Patrick Mahomes? Love him or hate him? 55% hate them. 45% love them.
Stylistically, it makes sense. But I don't appreciate the comparisons to franchise greats who he has not yet even remotely achieved anything close to what they have done.
You brought this up before the show. How do you feel about Titans running back Khalil Mullings, the draft pick in the 6th round out of Michigan, wearing number 28? Don't like it, fine with it, or don't care. 52% say they don't care. 33% are fine with it. 15% don't like it. You said you don't like that Mullings is wearing 28?
I'm just surprised. Like, I guess there's another player that's worn 28 before.
McNichols.
Oh, McWeapon was 28.
Yeah, he wore 28.
Why did I think he was 29?
So you didn't like 28 for Mullings just because of Chris Johnson? You don't think any Titans running back should? Like, if that's the case, then retire the number. But if the number's not retired.
Yeah, I just think that Chris Johnson was a big enough presence for this franchise that maybe you just shouldn't give it to the next running back that comes up. I feel the same way about 22. Hell, I felt weird watching another 31 that wasn't Kevin Byard running around out there. I don't know.
If the number's not retired, it's not retired.
Well, apparently that doesn't matter either.
Well, yeah, true. What will Nashville host next? A Super Bowl or another draft? 66% say a Super Bowl. I mean, Scoob called in. He was the Titans fan there in Green Bay for the draft, saying that they were told that pretty much every NFL market will host the draft at least once before they start repeating. So I guess the answer is Super Bowl.
Somebody said Bleedy Ray Wilson is the worst nickname because his coverage so bad that it was bleeding.
Oh, wow.
B-L-E-E-D-Y.
I see. Yes, his actual name was
B-L-I-D-I.
Yes, which was his actual name. That's pretty funny.
That's tough.
Those are the polls.
All right, very good. That's going to do it for us today. We appreciate you guys hanging out. Prime time tonight. Get into a little more Titan subject matter there. Keep an eye out on the Install live feed, or rather the feed for the live pod, and I'll see you tonight.
We love being part of the moments that matter, which is why we're announcing employee pricing for everyone. You pay what we pay. Employee pricing at Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned, American made.
We've got a huge announcement from Two Rivers Ford. They are now offering employee pricing for everyone. That means you pay what they pay on almost every new Ford on the lot. And at Two Rivers Ford, what you see is always what you get. They don't do things like add expensive accessories or tack on packages to increase the price of the vehicles. They're just upfront and honest.